are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
It's coded and popularized.
All right, I was hoping for a miracle on 34th Street, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight. I was hoping the audio would be back and sound right, but still isn't the case. One can only hope it comes back in 2024. Anyhow, tonight's topic, maybe not so much gematria related and just more the world we're living in related, and more specifically, the people in it. And what's happened to the people in it. And the 7 deadly sins, of course, they were made popular by the Catholic Church, not that we're trying to promote Catholicism, but they are very interesting. And I'd say like the 10 Commandments, they're missing some things that should be on there. Like how come one of the 7 deadly sins isn't lying? I suppose because the Catholic Church doesn't want you to think about that in light of their whole religion being based on a lie. But as we know, or maybe as we might need a refresher, the 7 deadly sins are, in order, pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth. And sloth is like laziness. Of course, you got that movie from the 90s with Kevin Spacey and Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman called Seven. I remember that movie was... it just blew me away as a young person when I saw it. Especially if you've seen that movie, you might remember the scene where they think the man's gone and then he pops up. Kind of a horrifying scene. But anyhow, I was inspired to talk about the 7 deadly sins because of something I saw this morning. And, you know, there's a gentleman who I've helped build up. I've definitely helped out his world. I've helped him become financially successful. It improved his place in life, been nothing but nice to him. And while he's never really done anything back for me, I didn't really care. I like helping people and see people, you know, step up in the world. But then what shocked me this morning is I saw a video uploaded called Zachary K. Hubbard is a Liar by this same person. And I just thought, well, why is he attacking me now? It's not the first time somebody who I've helped build up and promote and improve their position in the world has attacked me. But then I had to click on the video, and then I couldn't believe what he said I was lying about. I was like, no, I didn't lie about that. That's a factual story. You're mad at me because I complimented you because you saw a similar thing. I didn't want to get into the story of what he said I lied about. The bottom line is it was just unbelievable. It's like, okay, I didn't lie. You're falsely accusing me. You're slandering me, and all I've ever done is promote you 1,000,000 times. And again, I know what it is at the end of the day. It's envy. It's envy. That's the sin that he's suffering from, like so many other people. Because I'm used to this now. There's so many people who I've helped build up in the world who've come back and attacked me for literally no reason other than envy. Because what they want is to be more successful than the person who helped them get to where they are. And you know what? I wouldn't mind if these people became more successful than me. That's not my goal, is to be the most successful. My goal is to bring information into the world that helps people see what's really going on, and through that information helps them improve their place in life. And an outsider who was looking at this, they left a comment that I think is actually true. And I haven't talked about this for a long time. But when I first started to, well, here, I'll tell you what they said, then I'll tell you what I learned when I first started to research this about a decade ago, before I had this TFR radio show. And shout out to Chris Gio, wherever he is, for giving me the platform back in 2016. Forever grateful. I just really wish he'd touch back up the network and get things more pristine around here. But anyway, what the person said is, Zach, I think some people who come into this knowledge who don't have the right intention, like if they only get into it to make money off of it, they said, I think it corrupts their soul. And that could be very true, because when I first started to research this, I was reading about how studying Kabbalah, to some they consider it a dark art, and having a real corrupting influence. And some people say you should just stay far away from Kabbalah. You shouldn't touch this knowledge. You shouldn't look into it, because it will bring harm into your life. And, I read about that and I heard that warning, but I didn't really worry about that, because my intention with this knowledge was never anything evil or corrupt. It was to educate about how this information is out there and how it is being used by the ruling class, if you will, in ritualistic ways every day to lead humanity astray. Again, like we expose every day, from 9/11 to the cooties to hey, the latest thing today about the supposed cause of death for the Taylor Swift fan. If you missed that video, check it out on my YouTube channel. It's just undeniable what's really going on. That young woman surely didn't die from heat exhaustion. She died from ritual sacrifice by a pattern we've educated about 1,000,000 times. Hold on. I got an interruption here from Sweet Lady. Oh yeah, she doesn't exist, actually. Yeah, even Sweet Lady. Oh, I'm not supposed to say it, but she's even being. Oh, we won't even. Never mind. She brought me some food. That was nice of her. But anyway, it might be very true what that warning is that I read about, because the people who've all attacked me, they've never taken this knowledge and applied it to anything other than sports gambling. They've all used it exclusively for sports gambling, and in time, they've all used my name to clout chase, to attack me and slander me, to build up their own, or seemingly in their own mind, build up their level of recognition or whatever they're trying to do, trying to climb on the back of their teacher to get further ahead, which is a total scumbag move. And again, I just want to go through the 7 deadly sins. According to the Catholic Church, the worst one is pride, the pride before the fall. And I suppose Lee Greenwood, who sang the song about proud to be an American, man, he must be, woo. In my opinion, I don't know if pride really is the worst of the deadly sins. In a certain way, it's okay to be proud of your accomplishments. Being overly prideful, obviously that's probably what it's truly speaking to. But I mean, there's levels of pride, right? You finally accomplished something that you've been working so hard at to overcome. I told you, Sweet Lady's got the friend Crazy Krista, we call her. Shout out to Crazy Krista. She's not really crazy, but, she was going to give up on pursuing her education. She thought all of her detractors were right. Everybody in her life, from her own family to her ex, who she'd recently broken up with, they were all just raining on her and telling her she was too dumb. She'd never accomplish her goal. She'd never make it. And, she persevered. And man, just in the program they were in, it was like 3 strikes and you're done, but you got several. It's just like several at-bats in baseball. She'd always have 2 strikes on her, but she'd come through and get a home run before she'd get the 3rd strike. And after 4 years of persevering like that, she thought she finally hit the wall and just could not overcome the last hurdle. And she was just ready to throw in the towel. And, she did it. She did. She jumped over the hurdle. And she made her goal, and all of her detractors, they were wrong. She proved her haters wrong, And she was proud of that. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But anyway, I don't want to focus so much on pride. The Catholic Church can say that's the worst one of all, but look at the rest of the list. The rest of the list is like really what I see plaguing humanity. Greed. I mean, that's the ruling class, right? They just can't have enough. They just can't have enough. The people right now who are ruling over us, what did they do in 2020 with their little cooties? They had to lock down the world and shut down mom and pop so that Amazon and Walmart and all these companies that pretty much have the whole pie to themselves, they literally had to have even the crumbs that had crumbled off for the peasants down below. You know, the peasants couldn't even have the crumbs anymore. They needed that too. They already had the whole pie, but they wanted the crumbs that fell down on the floor also. And they got them. And they did it in the name of the cooties. It was the ultimate greed move. And then you had the Orange Oompa Loompa in charge, you know, Mr. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, who thought it was normal to get $1 million from his dad back in the 60s when he got out of high school. Oh, I'm not special. I only got $1 million back in, 1962 when I graduated, or whatever year it was, 63, 64. But I guess Donald Trump is actually the example of all the 7 deadly sins, isn't he? Because he's just too prideful. Just everything is him. The best Saturday Night Live skit I've seen in the last decade was one talking, just Trump being, just Baldwin mocking Trump about how prideful he was. It was actually hilarious. But anyway, greed. People just want, the people who are ruling, they cannot have enough. They just cannot have enough. And yeah, so the ruling class, I mean, their thing is greed. They just, kill in the name of greed. Doesn't matter who, So there are people that aren't in the ruling class who are also greedy, absolutely. But the real greed problem is with the ruling class. For the example I just said lays that part out. Wrath is like unjustified anger. Just being horribly mean and aggressive towards people that it's just uncalled for. And, it's funny. One of my trolls, if you know Lil Willie, he's making a politic move right now. And he's coming out and he's finally exposing that this person who he's been partners with for years, he's talking about how abusive he is and how he beats up women, how he's a small man who's scared of everybody, but he beats up women. And, he recently came after me and attacked my character with slanders. And I said, how can you slander me when your partner is like literally a guy who beats up women? And he wouldn't say anything about that. But his partner recently got exposed by other people. And now that he sees that that's a sinking ship, now he's coming out and also exposing this man for being wrathful towards women. And the thing is, I don't know that person or why he beats up women, but it is a vicious cycle. Almost everyone who is abused as a child grows up to become an abuser themselves. So, a level of sympathy for people, it's like, it's terrible that he does that, but then in a certain way, it's like, well, there's a reason he does that. It probably happened to him. Now he takes it out on women. So again, a lot of the sins that are in people were put in them from children, from the environment and the things they witnessed and the things that were done to them. Then they grow up so often to perpetrate the same things. But wrath is, again, unjust anger and aggression. It's not to say that all anger and aggression is wrong. Like if humanity rose up and let the tyrants feel the justified wrath, that's not a sin. That's justice. So again, let's be clear. But really, to me, going through this list, we've hit pride, greed, wrath, envy. Envy, to me, and when Charlie Munger just died, when they were playing a clip of him on TV, I heard him say it, and I said, yeah, I totally agree with that. Charlie Munger said the biggest problem in humanity today is envy. He said it's just so obvious. He says, nobody's grateful for what they have. Nobody's grateful for the position humanity's now in with abundance. And he's like, even the poorest people have access to abundance of food, shelter. There's never been a moment like this compared to our ancestors where it's so easy to survive. And if people could appreciate that, then, so anyway. But he said instead, everyone's so focused on what the next guy has. And if they don't have that, then that's what becomes their obsession and their fixation. And they're just so provoked unless they can, get to that, whatever that item is that they want. And so often it's materialism, right? And we live in this society where people are watching shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So people think like, to fit in, they need to have whatever, all the designer brands, accessories, clothes, purses, cars. And again, I mean, it's well known that none of those things are tickets to lasting happiness. Again, consumerism. It gives you a short burst of emotion, happiness, whatever you want to call it, the adrenaline, whatever it is you get from the consumption. It only lasts for so long. And then it just becomes another thing that you've had. And now, it's kind of the greed thing too. Now it's like you need more. Okay, that gave me some momentary happiness. I need some more happiness. I need the next thing. I need the newest this, the bigger this, the faster this. One of my favorite books as a child was Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha. If you've never read that book, it's great. I just when I was growing up in school, they made us read Brave New World, Lord of the Flies, 1984, all these dystopian books. I really wish in our upbringing they would have had us all read Siddhartha. I found that book. I told you when I was younger and lived in Seattle, Abraxas Books, a bookshop, came into the Lower Queen Anne area where I lived back in a time when there was still bookstores. And the owner, I just really hit it off with that guy. I was in that bookstore like in almost all my free time. I just go there and hang out and talk with him, and he'd recommend books, and he thought I might like Hermann Hesse, and he was right. I started reading up everything that Hermann Hesse had to write. But Siddhartha, when I read Siddhartha, to me it was profound, and his thing was just about having a simple life. Being able to fast, being able to just be happy with just existing and not needing things. And I try to model that in just everything I do too. Like people will criticize me because so often I'm just wearing a white t-shirt, or I always have on this same fleece. Again, you go to my closet, there's not many clothes in there. I used to have more clothes before my house got ransacked in 2014, but I didn't even have a lot back then, and I didn't really feel the need to replace it. And again, I don't want to be the things that I see that are wrong with this world. Materialism is something that is just, it's too much of an obsession for people, and it's not a healthy obsession. And that there's so many people. As I was listening to Lil Willie call out his man because he's down on he's kicking what is it? He's kicking his friend while he's down, But he was talking about how his friend, he's been making $20,000 a month off YouTube ad revenue. And if you don't know what Lil Willie and his friend do, they go into the post office and they point their phone at the post office worker until they get provoked. And then they call the police. And then the police come and they say, listen, I'm using my rights as an American. I have the right to do this. And then the video gets 1 million views. I can't believe people even watch this. It's like, people like watching this? God. But Lil Willie's like, he's been making $20,000 and then he blows it all in a month on a whole bunch of crap. It's like, how? How are you blowing $20,000 in a month? Like, what are you doing? But then people will envy that, right? They'll get mad. And then, like Lil Willie's mad because he's saying like, they never even let me monetize my channel. So he's envying his friend. Anyway, envy. Just like Siddhartha, be glad you exist. Yeah, you might be poor. I grew up poor, I know what it's like to be poor. That's how I grew up. But you don't realize that when you're a kid, right? There's still things that make you happy. You find the things in life that make you happy. You don't have to be wealthy to find happiness. Being around friends, family, playing games with your friends, drawing pictures. There's simple things you can do at any level to provide, to find happiness. I got to watch my sister who grew up like me. She grew up poor as well. She was probably poorer than I was because she grew up with my mom, who had her when she was in high school. And then my mom found my dad, and he didn't make a lot either. I think like combined growing up, they had they worked 7 days a week and made a combined $20,000 a year. But, my dad wasn't even around when it was my sister and my mom. But anyway, my sister, she married into wealth. She married into a very wealthy family. And she got to, from mid-20s on, she got to live with all this wealth and raise a family. And, all of those kids grew up in what the common person would say being spoiled, just growing up having everything, getting to go on all the vacations, getting $10,000 in presents every Christmas. And I just remember watching them as they grew up, how at Christmas time, they'd fight. They'd be ungrateful. They'd think their sibling got better gifts than they got. They'd be having tantrums, slamming down their brand new $1,000 laptop. And I just look at this. I mean, look at the human condition. This is crazy. These kids have no idea how good they have, because it's all relative, right? It's all perspective. They're just used to getting everything, and oh my God, my brother got more, my sister got more than me. It's like they have no idea. They have no idea. Each Christmas, they're getting more gifts than probably the average human being gets in a lifetime for the holiday. And then my sister's ushering them out the door to get to church for Christmas, and then they'll go again on Easter, and it's just like, what are you really teaching them? What are you teaching them? But anyway, it's like you shouldn't be jealous of the next person. There's always going to be somebody who's poorer than you. There's always going to be somebody who's richer than you. I've suffered from a lot of these things in my lifetime, but I've never really been envious of anyone. I've always been happy with the things I had. I do get envious of trash YouTube channels that get huge views, but it's not because the reason I get mad is because I'm like, oh my God, this trash content that pollutes people's minds is getting all these views, and then here I am trying to educate people about something that could really change the world for the better, and God, I can't. Anyway, it's a different type of envy, but it's not as corrupting of a feeling of envy. The next one, lust. Lust. I mean, it causes a lot of problems in the world. I'd say probably the majority of murders in this world are also highly connected to lust. Cheating will not often, but sometimes results in deadly violence. My sister's best friend, it's been over 10 years now, but the husband found out she was, with another man, and then next thing you know, the husband shot her and then shot himself. And maybe cheating doesn't always come out of lust. It could come out of different things, but a lot of times it is lust. And, it can lead to other things too. My good buddy Joseph out there in the world, last time I talked to him, it's been a minute, but something he had just happened in his life. He met a pretty girl at the bar, and he brought her home. And he didn't realize that pretty girl at the bar was with some guys who were also watching. And, he said that night, and my friend Joseph, he likes nice things. He when I met him, he drove like an $80,000 BMW. And he said that night he had on, his necklace, and he had on his nice watch. So that they spotted that he had some money. Well, he brought the girl home, and then next thing you know, dudes are busting into his house, beating him up and taking all of his possessions. And, why was he with that woman that night? It wasn't out of love or anything. It was out of lust, right? Met a pretty girl at the bar, brought her home. Common story, but it doesn't always end that way, but it can. He's not the only guy that ever happened to. Sometimes the woman steals the stuff and she's out the door in the middle of the night. And it could be the other way too. But, and then the other thing is all human beings have, well, I shouldn't say all. Some people, I guess, are asexual, they say. But most people have, a libido. And they have sexual desires. And it's just a natural thing as being an adult, right? But we live in this world that's always trying to fuel those feelings. You know, the clothing that's out there, the shows and programming that are out there, the stuff that's being promoted through the screens now, endless free porn everywhere, right? All of these things are like exploiting human desire. And I mean, you see it, right? We now live in a nation where the divorce rate is over 50%. The average marriage doesn't last 5 years. I think the average marriage right now lasts like 3 years. I mean, think about how bad that is. These people are having a day spending all this money. A lot of people get way into debt for one day, and then they're given vows like until death do us part. But then it's just a few years later, and it's already they're done apart. And more often than not, it's over affairs and cheating, which was pursuing, some lustful desire. Gluttony. I mean, just take a look around in America. The guy who went after me this morning for no reason. He's a highly obese man. And so, I know he's suffering from envy. I know he's suffering from gluttony. He's obviously greedy because he wants more. He wants to tear down the person who helped build him up. And again, he's not the first person to do it. And sloth, that's also there because it's laziness. They kind of go hand in hand. Part of the gluttony and obesity thing is also, not moving your body enough based on how much you're cramming in your mouth. But anyway, we'll come back. We'll talk about it more, and then we'll take your calls. But if you call in tonight, you got to talk about what sin inflicts you the most. Be right back, everybody.
What constitutes a good life? How you feel about each other. I've got a good phrase for you. You can't succeed by yourself. So to have a unique, refined sense of appreciation for each other is prerequisite. It takes each other to build a society. It takes all of us to build a country, to build a nation. It takes all of us to build a community. Key phrase, you can't succeed by yourself. It takes all of us to make any one of us successful. And a unique, refined appreciation of the all of us is what makes the I of us do much better. That appreciation of society. It takes all of us to make a market. We need each other's ideas and inspiration. And once you have that sense of appreciation of the all of us, now you and your place and your possibilities and your opportunities now start to really soar when you understand how important it is within the framework of the all of us. So you can't succeed by yourself. It's hard to find a rich hermit.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Fields, Lataria history, Darcy, Lightworkers, and Indigos. Join me on the Nikki Colombo Show. It's time to reclaim our true history, our true timelines, our cosmic heritage. And remember, be humble, for you are made on earth. Be noble, for you are made.
no hate, no hype, no fear. We are team. Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're talking 7 deadly sins. And again, it's always call-in night. If you're new here, if you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. But yeah, if you want to phone in, at least have one thing to say about the topic. It could be what sin you feel like you're most inflicted by, or if you have a good example of the 7 deadly sins and how they're tearing humanity apart, that would be great as well. I'd say for me, you know, when I was younger, I'd say probably lust, probably I've been the most guilty of. I'd say sloth is the one I've been least guilty of. I've for as long as I can remember, I've been working my booty off. Most people might say you're too prideful about things, so. But I feel like I'm pretty good about the other ones. I definitely haven't been gluttonous. But yeah, also just about the state of humanity, it's disheartening because it's just there's so many snakes in the grass, and it's like look at the example of people in this community that hang around here only to backstab and create drama and problems. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was talking a lot more about how much I wanted to help create a real community because I do feel like it's necessary, like for a real community of people dedicated to a cause of truth, justice, breaking out of this system. I feel like it's so necessary. A community that could come together, work together, help get the message out in a bigger way, be productive towards some end. But yeah, I haven't been talking about it much at all as of late because it's just, I realize how overwhelmingly difficult it is. It's just like case in point, you know, one of the guys who's been saying the most like, yeah, I want to help create that community with you, Zach. I mean, it turned out he was nothing but some kind of fraud agent, just like I was warned about in Oklahoma City when the filmmaker told me he knew that he was a Fed. And I still don't know that he's a Fed, but he's no doubt some kind of agent. He's brought a lot of weirdos into the community. And you saw how when I finally questioned him on a few things, how quickly he flipped. All of a sudden, he dedicated his channel to just trying to trash and tarnish my name and slander me. And that's not something anybody would do who was really down for the cause. And it was kind of apparent that he wasn't really down for the cause because he never did anything to ever help promote the work. And if you ever followed his channel, it seemed like so often he'd be talking about things I brought up, but going against them. Like when I started bringing up the benefits of fasting last year and how important intermittent fasting can be to solving health problems. And shout out to all the people who took that advice and solved problems. There was a lot of great feedback from the community for people who tried it out and made it part of their lifestyle. But he was making videos every day about how intermittent fasting is like dumb and worthless. And then meanwhile, he has all these health ailments. When he was out in New York and Oklahoma City, he was walking around like he was 90 years old complaining about how bad his back hurt. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's sad that I don't want to blame people for the state of affairs of humanity, but it's because we grow up in this world ruled over by this corrupt authority that puts us in this slave school system where we don't learn anything about the importance of being a good person. You know, there's not an emphasis on the golden rule and cooperation. There's an emphasis on being number one, you know, being the top of your class, outperforming everybody else, being the best. And, you know, I mean, there is something to that, but again, imagine we had a society where people actually cooperated and could trust each other and work together, and people who really wanted to help one another. You know, we'd live in a paradise if it was that way. If everybody looked out for everybody else and took care of their community and said, oh, you're down and out right now, well, I'm up, let me help you out. I mean, if that was the mentality, again, we live in a world of abundance. We live in a world of abundance. If everybody could learn to cooperate and work together, there wouldn't be suffering. It's the suffering that creates the problems. When you're suffering and can't feed yourself, you might end up robbing your neighbor instead. If you're a greedy person, you know, like, again, case in point, back when I lived in Bothell, Washington, I had a neighbor who came to me. He saw that I was doing well. He asked for a loan. I gave it to him. He got excited about that. He asked if I had cash in the house. He made a point like, you shouldn't keep cash in the house. You can get robbed. I said, well, I don't keep that much in the house. I just keep a little bit for a rainy day fund. Next thing I know, week later, man, doors kicked in, house is robbed and burglarized, and he's out of town. And a church-going guy, too. That was the typical Christian to me. Paul, the Christian who went to church every Sunday. But, again, I mean, what is that? Greed, envy. He had all those things. You know, I had a newer truck at the time, Toyota Tacoma. He got real excited about it. When he got back in town after robbing my house, he went out and brought a brand new Toyota Tacoma, same make, model, year as mine, exact same truck. I just thought, unbelievable, man. What a move, this guy. But yeah, again, it's hard. You be good to people in this world, and they might just come back for even more. They might just try to tear you down all the way to get as far ahead as they possibly can. And it's amazing to me in a way, because I'm not built like that. I've never been that way. I don't even want people to help me out. Maybe that's a pride thing, but I like helping people rather than being helped. And anyway, let me turn it over to the callers. Again, the topic tonight is the 7 deadly sins. What are we going to do about this state of affairs? What are we going to do about all these snakes in the grass? How are we going to get ahead? Because again, until humanity can learn to cooperate and work together, I don't see how we're ever going to overcome the tyranny that's working to hold us down and put us further down every single day. You know, the Obamas just produced a movie about it, right? When the Cabal unleashes their dark plan, you know, as they show again in the latest movie, that their projection for humanity, even people who are friends in this world, they won't even trust each other in that moment. It'll be every man for himself. And if it's that way, it's just going to be the rapid destruction of everybody. So, and we've seen that these things could happen. That's why for years I was talking about how much we need to put community together. But now I'm like, man, the people that are acting like they're my best friends and biggest advocates, they're actually the people with the biggest daggers just ready to stick in my back. So it makes it tough. All right, let's go out to 772. He's up first. What's up, 772?
Hey, Zach, what's up? So I guess I'll start with pertaining to the topic. But yeah, I think that's my sin is probably wrath. I'm probably too angry of a person. Obviously, I probably don't show it much on stream, but I am a pretty angry person. I'm very impatient. But I think that there's a couple of sins that are probably not on there that should be. And I think that there's one that's plaguing this community that I'm seeing, and then there's another one that, you know, I just see in society. And that one is attention. Well, actually, I think it's probably a little bit of both. Attention is another sin. People now, especially nowadays, like on social media, have become desperate for attention. They'll do anything for it. They'll basically, you know, step on anybody's head to get even a little bit of attention. And, you know, it's something you see on TikTok. Funny thing, when you started this live stream, I was actually listening to Head Like a Hole by 9 Inch Nails. Maybe you want to put up the lyrics for that, but I think that it actually pertains to the topic of this, to greed. But another one which that I see in this community, another deadly sin is also attention. It's people, people will come up with a finding or something like that. They'll find some kind of information, and if anybody else uses that information, then they'll get all upset. Oh, well, I found that. Why am I not getting credit? Oh, people get so mad about this. And, I think that people should probably be more like me and not, I don't care about getting credit. Like, if I come up with a find or something in the community, and I see you talk about it, I'd like you to talk about it, but I don't care if I get credit. I don't need to get credit. I don't want you to make a post on your website about everything I talked about, and truth did not exist, did this. Like, I don't care about that. I'm prideful enough in knowing that I contributed, and that post was made because of whatever thing that I said, and that's enough for me. I'm the only person that needs to know that I contributed. Like the satisfaction of doing that is enough. That I don't need, credit or anybody else. I don't need to prove myself in that way. I think that lying and not being on the deadly sins, I think that lying is kind of a double-edged sword, in that it can be an evil thing, but it can also be something that's used for good. And ultimately it's a very powerful tool. There's examples that you can that there are that it would be immoral not to lie sometimes.
So is it like if Sweet Lady's like, do you like my outfit? And you're like, it might not be my favorite outfit, but you're like, oh, of course, it looks wonderful. Is this what you're saying? Is this like the nice side of lying?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Those are what we call white lies. I mean, I don't know if those really count as lies. I just feel like that's being nice, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, well, also like a common one that I hear, a common example is like that people will say, like, if you're hiding Jews in your basement and Nazis come and ask you, if you're truthful, then you're doing something evil, you're getting a family killed. But if you lie, then you're actually doing something good. That's the most common example I hear of it. But yeah, that's what I think of it. And I wanted to make a video earlier today. I can't believe that you missed some of this stuff. But did you know that the girl that died, the Taylor Swift thing? Did you know that the city Rio de Janeiro is 201?
Of course, of course. We talked about that a million times with the Agenda 21 thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
but there's some other stuff. So you were talking about Taylor equaling 35. No, actually, no, you didn't talk about that. You talked about they were coding 35 into that news story, and you had missed that Taylor equals 35, and also they coded in the 44, the kill numbers. Swiftie is 44, which is like the name of her fan base or whatever. And they're saying that that's like the name of the year. And what's funny is that the comment that I left last week about the Taylor Swift, her concert, I kind of made a prediction about the death. I said that I thought that there was probably going to be death in relation to, in relation to the concert. Maybe she was dying, she would die or something like that is what I thought. I mean, we don't know. That could yet to happen, but I saw that because the Swiftie equals 44, but also the end date for that concert, that not concert, but that kind of what's it called? The tour. The end date for that tour is December 8th, 2024, which has the kill date numerology. That's the kill date numerology for December 2024 is December 8th, which is 44, 64, 28, 17, all the kill numbers are on that day. And I thought that was interesting. Also, I looked into her album, because you're talking about that, she's tied into the satanic, like, with the 35 and 55 they were coding into there. I had noticed that too last week, and they're doing it even more. I found her old album that she released 10 years ago called Red. I didn't look into it then, but I looked into it now. And I found it interesting that it was, it released on October 2011 with no. Oh shit! I lost my decode. I can't believe
It's
this.
okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But we get the point.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I was I don't know where it went. The computer got rid of it. Oh no. Anyway, I'll probably call in with it next week. Two other things I wanted to say. I'm writing a book. I don't really want to talk about what it's about yet, but it will come out. Maybe like in the next year or so. And also, there's a lot of people lying about me right now. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to tell you. So Cuts One, I know you wanted to go to the police, and if that doesn't work out and they don't really do anything about that, Cuts One definitely has schizophrenia.
Not the police.
What?
Courthouse to file a no harassment order.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to talk about these people. I don't want to talk about these people because just even talking about them just makes them more active. So, mistake.
Well,
anyway,
I just wanted to give you this one piece of advice. If that doesn't work out, then try and contact like some kind of like psychiatrist or something like that to get him Baker acted, because he definitely has schizophrenia. Like there's like watching his live stream. My grandmother had it, and like I could tell that he has that energy and like that, that to him. But yeah, people have been lying about me a lot. I don't really appreciate that. I have my ex lying about me. I have other people in the community lying about me and saying a lot of stuff. So any people that are lying about me and Zach, it's all lies. These people are just, every single thing that they say is a lie. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good night. Don't worry about the trolls.
Yeah.
They're losers. Yeah, and to think these guys are like 40 years old harassing you and you're 18, so.
Yeah. And one of the guys, I got in a debate with him, and then I destroyed him, and then he removed the video because I destroyed him. And like basically during the whole argument, all he could say was, "Oh, well, you're 19. Well, you're just a baby." That was it. He couldn't disprove anything I was saying. That was just the only thing he kept repeating over and over. And obviously he still lost the debate. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
All right.
Looking forward to DK calling in. He's actually been doing some good calls these past couple of weeks.
All right. Nice to see you guys making amends. All right. You have a good night, buddy. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. All right. Let's go out to Michigan. Michigan, you're on. Michigan. Hello. I think he's just listening tonight. Some nights he's just listening. Let's go out to Texas, 281.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hey, Zach. So there's something here, Decode, you want to get your thoughts on. I guess first off, to address the 7 deadly sins, I will say that mine probably also is wrath. I'm just, in general, very, very frustrated looking at the world we live in and this just everything going on, how people just refuse to see the truth and just are really blind to just everything around them, and nobody even second guesses anything. And it does get me very frustrated a lot. And it's something I've gotten a little bit better on trying to explain the truth to people. A lot of times I do get angry when I explain, like very passionate about it, just because all my family, friends, etc. It's very hard to convince these people of what's really going on. But
now hold on.
Yeah. So,
are you saying when you start to share information with people get angry?
Well, a lot of people, I would say it's just when people refuse to just see what's right in front of their eyes, and I just start, I raise my voice and get really passionate in what I'm saying. And when people don't understand things, I do get frustrated, and that's something I feel I should remain more calm and collected in those situations,
Sure. I was thinking about just wrath. People are wrathful towards information that's outside of their paradigm. It's like, that's what I was experiencing after 9/11 for questioning. Like, people want to attack and fight me for stating the obvious that didn't make sense about 9/11. So that just that wrath thing, I'd say just society's full of wrath. Like my sister, she gets really aggressive and angry. Well, when I told her, for example, I said, Jen, don't you think it's funny that Prince died on 4/21 and he had the song "I Would Die for You," where you was the 21st letter? She was just so. She's like, do you know how crazy that sounds, Zach? I was like, I don't know why it sounds so crazy. I mean, he ended up dying on 4/21, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just totally insane. And yeah, a lot of people do get mad at me a lot of times when I am trying to tell them something. I just say, or they just don't want to talk about it. That's the way a lot of it is with my family members. They're just like, oh yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's like, well, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the rigged sports games and all this, like.
They do.
Like,
look at the guy in the chat. Guy shows up in the
things?
chat. Hey Zach, who's winning the Super Bowl? I hate when people come in the thing and that's all that's on their mind. It's like, that's all you care about, huh? Who's winning the Super Bowl? Why does that even matter? Have I not called it enough? Do we need to call it any more? Do we need to prove our point any more about how rigged it is? How can that be all you care about at this point? So yeah, it's just the things on people's minds is sad. But anyway, go ahead.
And like, that is very, very funny that you mentioned the Super Bowl, because what I'm actually calling into, I have some information that I do believe it's led me to the conclusion that I think there's probably going to be some sort of thing to happen at the Super Bowl, this upcoming Super Bowl 58. I think what I noticed, so I was doing a little bit of research on it here, and Super Bowl 58 is on February 11th. So what's interesting about February 11th is I was looking into days that people were born on and died on in February 11th. And as we know, it's an important date at the Vatican. But in addition to that, so it's the same day Alex Jones and Thomas Edison were born.
Right.
And it's also the same day Whitney Houston died.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find too much information on Thomas Edison other than the fact that he is with the whole thing about him and the light bulb. Maybe we could see another lights out like associated with that at the Super Bowl. I don't know. I couldn't find any of their too much more information on that, but I do think that there is some sort of connection, and there may be some sort of tribute with Alex Jones and Whitney Houston, and on the topic of Sandy Hook here. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and just explain some of the things, list some of the things I have. So Houston sang at the national anthem at Super Bowl 25 in 1991. And 1991 is 33 years from 2024. As we know, Alex Jones equals 33. She died at 48, and Alex Jones equals 48. Also, Jones was reinstated from Twitter, in Twitter 63 days before his birthday, and Whitney Houston equals 63. And he was reinstated right before the anniversary of Sandy Hook. And that's interesting because February 11th is also written 11-2, 11-12. Super Bowl equals 112. And so does Sandy Hook. Remember the whole 112 ritual we had with Sandy Hook. In addition to that, Sandy Hook Elementary also equals 308 in Francis Bacon. And the span of the Super Bowl anniversary in Sandy Hook is 308 days, including the end date. Also, Houston died in 2012, which was the same year as Sandy Hook. And lastly, from her dying to Sandy Hook happening was 58 days, including the end date, and of course from Super Bowl 58. So I do think, and there's also a few other things I have on this, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And as you said, I don't want to preach fear, like you always say, that preaching fear is not good, but I think that 2024, there's a lot of things that could happen in 2024. I think it's going to be a big year. And yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl, it's looking like there's a lot of potential ritual surrounding it.
Yeah, and the event might not be at the Super Bowl, but I do suspect that something big is coming around the time of the Super Bowl, and it could be somewhere else in the world at the time of the event. But yeah, a lot of things. Again, that whole movie that the Obamas just put out about the Cabal, and they're planning to take down the grid. They pay tribute to Julia Roberts and friends, and their episode was called "The One After the Super Bowl." So we'll see.
Yeah, and yeah, just also in 2024, this is unrelated. There's just one simple thing I thought was interesting was that the election is on November 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Day, and Guy Fawkes Day equals 2024 in the Jewish cipher. So you have the 2024 election on Guy Fawkes Day, and Guy Fawkes Day equals 2024. just something I also thought was interesting.
Sure. Just also about the Super Bowl, we did just have the 49ers and Ravens play on Christmas, and that was the blackout Super Bowl 47, where the Ravens beat the 49ers, also known as the Harbaugh Bowl. And a lot of headlines said that the blackout lasted 34 minutes, but if you go back and look, half the headlines said the blackout lasted 33 minutes, while the Ravens just won with 33 points. So we'll see soon enough if this is all predictive programming for what's to come. But appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, have a good night. Okay, we are coming up on a commercial break. When we get back, next in line is 919, then 951, then 346, then 281. And actually 281 just hung up. So we got 4 people on hold, and then the line's wide open. So if you've never called in before, it is a call board. You call in and you get placed in order. Call in now. You'll be sure to be part of the show. So 213-233-3998. And on my end, it says that the break's supposed to be going right now, but again, the sound is a little off kilter, so I'm sure it'll start at any second. 708 just phoned in. 708's now in line. Again, if you guys want to call in, now is a great time because the line is relatively short.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
I feel like you're trying to get it about.
I go hard. I go hard. If I was hooked, I would not have gotten this far. I go hard. I go hard. I know hard things.
Familiar.
Yes, you are. I say, sit down, everybody. And they don't sit down. They refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. Sit down, everybody. And they don't sit down. They refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Down. Refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. If I don't go all the way, if I don't win, you'll understand. But the three ways that they would say, money. If I don't look back and say, oh shit, you do this or that, I'm not so good. So glad. And everybody agrees. Against me, a trouble is a retweet, watch, look at the tweet, they respond, do what they did to me. I'm not like that. It's not a long run, certainly. I know hard. I know hard. If I was lost, I would not have gotten this far. I know hard. I know hard. I know hard. Things familiar. Yes, you are hard.
Mr. Trump, some have suggested that you refuse to release your tax returns because of your extreme privacy concerning your hobbies.
Yes.
So can you confirm or deny this list of personal pastimes?
Yeah, I guess so. But seeing the body, Minecraft, podiatry, hack attack, clearing the animal, breeding cats, golf spin, waste of time, coloring, doing Zumba, water polo, playing tuba, spray tan, driving Uber, putting together a big brain from IKEA. Waste of time. While you're sequencing the entire human genome. Oh, waste of time. Magazine. Waste of time. Warning. Waste of time. Adenine. Waste of time. Waste
Waste of time.
All the meaning.
Waste of time. Wherever you are, make it easy. Oh, Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
Still have been popularized.
All right, I'm going to imagine the sound is over on the TFR end. Again, we're taking your calls the rest of the way. If you want to phone in, it's 213-233-3998. The call-in line is not too long. And let's go out to 919. You're up.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Doing all right, thank you.
All right. I'm calling about the predictive programming you've been talking about with the movie Leave the World Behind and a potential future Super Bowl date. And I just posted a picture about an hour ago on Free to Find Truth. And the picture is from a scene in the movie where Julia Roberts looks at the Tesla after they all crash. And if you look on the window sticker, I believe there's a date there. It's meant to be read like a date. And that date is 2/11/2029. Now, what's interesting is that in that movie, they flash a baseball game where they show a pitcher for the Braves, Chris Martin. And I believe the date of that game is August 8/2021. And they beat the Nationals. They come into the day, the Braves do, 56-56 on 112 games for the season, kind of like the 11th day of the second month. And the Nationals on that day play their 112th game. Now, the Braves beat the Nationals that day and get a home record of 29-29. And 2/11/2029 would be the 109th NFL season. It would be Super Bowl 63 in the 59th of the modern era. And so the record is, 29-29, and 29 is the 109th prime number. Now, the Braves beat the Nationals in this game, and they're picking up their 392nd win against the Nationals. And it's exactly 392 weeks to that date, 2/11/2029. And Atlanta, Georgia equals 59 in full reduction. And like I said, it's the 59th Super Bowl of the modern era. And cyber attack in English ordinal equals 109, like the NFL season. And also in this game, from that date to the date 2/11/2029, it's a span of 90 months and 3 days. And the score, the Braves win 5-4, which is a total of 9. And if you write out 9, it equals 42 in English ordinal. And the date span could be read like the 42nd triangular number, 903. And also another connection to the date is the Nationals stay on 50 and 21 wins. And 5,021 is the 673rd prime number. And it's also a span of 6 months, 7 years, and 3 days to that date. And also that year, 2021, is the year that Houston and Atlanta faced each other in the World Series. And Julia Roberts is from Atlanta. That pitcher, Chris Martin, is from Arlington, Texas. And I believe his name is Ethan Hawke. He's from Texas as well. And the date of the game, 8/8/21, this is my last point, is also like Georgia's birthday, which is 1288, but of 1788. So, but the purpose of the call was that date, which would be a potential Super Bowl date of February 11th of 2029. I think that's what it's pointing to.
Okay, interesting.
That's all I have, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you, 919. Okie dokie. Let's go out to 951. You're on. (951) Hello. All right, we're gonna move on. Let's go out to 631. 631, you're on.
Man, what's going on, Zachary K. Hubbard? This your man, Black Guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, our favorite troll. Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. My sin that I'm the most guilty of is lust.
Well, so I just want to ask you real quick though. What is the point of being a white person pretending to be black? Like what does that do for you?
Hey, first of all, I ain't never even told you my race. You don't even know.
It's just so obvious. It's so obvious, and you're always trolling on a racial thing. But I mean, you can hear your voice. You're a white guy.
Hey, listen, man. Don't worry about the content.
No, we're not going to listen anymore.
Content.
We're not going to listen anymore, troll. Adios. I mean, can you imagine like being a white guy pretending to be a black guy online and just trolling all the time? Like, how pathetic of a human being are you? Why? 708.
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
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 You're on.
Hey, Zach.
What's up?
You hear me?
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I was gonna go into a little something like off topic but important. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know if you knew, but first off, well, I'll start here. Did you know that torment and masonry are all four in the same cipher, 105, 33, 84, 39?
Nope.
Well, there's a group of people who claim to be, victims of covert mind control, electronic torture, and they identify themselves as targeted individuals. And I think they might be on to something.
Okay.
Mark of the Beast equals 144. So does Serpent's Fang. Remember the pamphlets from the movie Leave the World Behind with the snake on it?
Right.
And Serpent's Fang equals 144.
Wait,
I'm not bringing up the 144.
What was it? Serpent what?
Serpent's Fang, like the large tooth.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, so I'm bringing up 144 because obviously in the movie it's a lot of like end times speak, a lot of like Book of Revelation talk. Because, once again, these people like the Jesuits, they do this biblical symbolism, and the book of Revelation, it speaks of the 144,000. And one of the interpretations of the 144,000 in that movie, there's in the Bible, I'm sorry, there are three interpretations of it. Three references. One being the 1,200 from each of the tribes of the children of Israel were sealed. The second is, it speaks of the 144,000 standing with a lamb on Mount Zion and having the name of God on their foreheads. And then the last one speaks of the song that can only be sang by the 144,000, and they would be redeemed from the earth. And I'm saying this because I noticed also that, did you know that Kobe Bryant was actually the third born child?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he has two sisters. And I don't mean to scare anybody who is a third born, but third born child actually equals 144, like Mark of the Beast. And it also equals 81, like number of the beast. And Kobe, the connection with Kobe and the 81, and also the Black Mamba, the Serpent's Fang, equals 144.
My mom's out there listening right now. She's like, I'm the third born. So, anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that anybody, who is a third born is going to be like a target or something. I'm just saying Kobe happens to be.
Well, my mom might actually lend credence to your theory, but go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I was looking at that, and I noticed also that I was watching this special on targeted individuals, and there was these people who claim to be victims of mind control and harassment, and they're from Palm Springs, and Palm Springs equal 144. So it kind of makes me think, are they just actors, or are they just doing this for, because the numbers there. And then I noticed that numerically targeted in Gematria equals 213, that's a death number. So does neural torturing. And one of the things that they talk about is that this stuff, it's something that I guess, it's like a secretly only given to Freemasons in the government who, will torment somebody, use mind control, and eventually lead them to the death. And it's funny how it equals 213. And you know how that second reference I was just speaking of the 144,000 in the Bible says that the 144,000 are seen standing at Mount Zion with the lamb, and sacrificial lamb equals 118 in the ordinal cipher, just like cyber attacked. And you got to figure that's saying something, because that's what's happening to these people around the world who claim to be, victims of this covert electronic weaponry mind control torture. And it makes a lot of sense because, MK Ultra has been going on for a long time. I've been hearing it, and like I said before, the Masonry and Torment and all four of those main ciphers, equal the exact same numbers. It's interesting, but I just think that they could be on to something. Also, cyber attack and the sacrificial lamb equal 37 in the Chaldean and 48 in septenary. So that's pretty much it, all I had. But I don't want to alarm anybody, scare anybody who might be a third born, but I just thought that was interesting because Kobe Bryant and his numbers, with the 113, 157, just like Apocalypse, and we've got a movie like the Knock at the Cabin movie with the wrestler Batista, who was in it, saying that they had to sacrifice one of the members of that family in the movie to prevent the apocalypse. And you see what happened to Kobe, and then he has, the Mark of the Beast numbers, the number of the beast, 81, Serpent's Fang. That's very interesting, because that's how this decade started off, with a sacrifice, And I know you've talked about it before, like every time around like New Year's, there seems to be a lot of deaths. Like, you know, who knows like what kind of celebrity deaths might be like coming up. But, you know, I know there's like a lot of people like born in like 1937 seems to be dying a lot, like Brooks Robinson, the baseball player, or I forget his name, but you did a video on him earlier today.
Well, they're 86 right now, right? We know how common getting 86 is if you're born in 37. So, all right. Appreciate it, caller.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right, yeah,
Have a
take
good
care.
one.
Yeah. All right. Let's go out to 435. 435, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Zach.
Oh, it's Daria. How you doing, Daria?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing all right, thank you.
I wanted to talk about the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, back on topic. Thank you.
I have to say, I think probably the sin that I'm the most guilty of, and that's not just me, but something that's definitely like in my family. It's definitely pride. Pride is a big one. Especially when you do something wrong, and instead of admitting that you did something wrong, you rather like, not speak to, relatives, or, like you insulted someone or you say something hurtful, and without, and instead of apologizing, you'd rather go, weeks or sometimes months, or sometimes not even speak to your siblings because of, instead of just saying, I'm sorry, saying, doing something or saying something that you shouldn't have done, you miss not speaking to, your siblings or a mom, or, your parents, or, definitely is something that, not just me, but, some of my siblings, we definitely had our quarrels. We've definitely had our disagreements, and fights where we said hurtful things. And instead of apologizing, being the better person, you spend weeks, sometimes you go months without speaking, instead of, apologizing for, being, mean or saying hurtful things. And that's definitely a big one, something that not just me, but, mostly my siblings.
And I think it's common. I just, as you're talking about, I just think about my mom's family, just like how much bad, whatever word you want to use, juju there is between the siblings, and how they fight with each other and don't talk to each other. And my mom was the third born, or her sister, who was the second born, a year older than her, that they just always had it out for each other. And I mean, it was so bad that when my mom's only lost one of her 9 siblings so far, and it was her older sister. And the biggest beef was she wouldn't even go to her funeral. And I just kept telling my mom, I said, Mom, you're going to regret that someday, that you didn't go to your sister's funeral. And she doesn't regret. She's like, no, I'm glad she's dead. I'm like, that's your own family member. But that's who my mom is. And it's sad. So yeah, I mean, that's the world we're living in. It's like, how did we get to be in such a bad place? How did humanity get to be this bad? So since you're saying this about yourself, Daria, like, what are, if you don't mind, like, what are some of the things that have caused the friction between you and your siblings?
I would say it definitely, when it comes to like relationships, like, my brother and his girlfriend, my sister and her boyfriend, me and my ex-boyfriend, sometimes they'll say, something they don't like about, each other's, partner or boyfriend or girlfriend. Or sometimes you'll want to say something, but, instead of, not causing, drama or causing, tension, you rather stay quiet. And then, you get to the point where you just can't take it anymore. And then you do say something, but it becomes, this big, fiasco when where no one's talking to each other because of what so and so said. And instead of saying, okay, maybe, you sit down with your siblings and you talk and you say, hey, I don't like what you said about, my boyfriend, or hey, I don't like what you said about my girlfriend, that was hurtful. We stop speaking. And
just little things.
It's little things. Sometimes it could be misunderstandings also. It can be misunderstandings. Sometimes also you just do it because, you're just, and that's where, the other part comes from. Sometimes people just don't want to admit, you get envious of your siblings. Sometimes you see, hey, my sister and her boyfriend, they've been together, for so long, she's happy, and then you look at yourself and you say, hey, well, my relationship didn't work out. What did I do wrong? You start looking at yourself and, you start comparing, say, hey, how come, like my sister and her boyfriends, or, my brother and his girlfriend, you start comparing, well, how come my relationship didn't work out and theirs did? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Like I was saying, I was describing my sister's children and how they're all just spoiled to death and they don't know how spoiled they are. So they fight over each other because one got maybe $10,500 in gifts and the other one only got $10,000 in gifts. And it's just crazy to witness.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's obvious, there's a lot of people, and, maybe people, some don't want to admit, we're very materialistic. We always want to have, the better gifts. We always want to have the better gifts. We always want to give the better gifts than, the other family members. I want to be able to give, so and so this gift, or I spend this much money on this gift, and someone else can get something that was, cost a lot less, but they like that gift better,
Yeah. The envy thing, just everyone just can't be grateful for what they have. And it's just amazing the little things that people let ruin their day. To pick on my mom some more, again, my Christmas memory, I remember exactly how this played out as a child. It was the last time we were invited to the family get together for Christmas. My grandma was in town from North Dakota, and my mom asked her to come to my baseball or whatever sport it was, probably my basketball game. And grandma said, oh yeah, I'll come. And then my mom's sister, the two siblings that my mom has the most trouble with, the one who's older than her, the second born, and the fourth born. My mom was the third born. She has the most trouble with these two, the ones closest to her. And then her younger sister, Patty, who's the fourth born, she said, hey, grandma, how about instead come to my son's game tomorrow? And then grandma goes, oh, okay, I'll go to that game. And then my mom got real mad. And then the two sisters, my mom and her younger sister, literally got in a fist fight, slugged it out, ended up knocking over the couch, the Christmas tree, and over something just so stupid. Like, I didn't care if grandma wasn't coming to my game. That's fine. She'd go to my cousin's game. I don't care. I'm going to have fun at my basketball game regardless. I don't care. But then I realized it's my mom, because my mom always feels like she was the Cinderella. My mom always tells that story, that she was the Cinderella of the family. Everybody got to go out and have fun all the time, and she had to stay home and clean the dishes and wash everyone's clothes. And I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, I mean, it's just the whole story of her life. She's just jealous of her siblings and think they all had it better than her, and she was always less favored. But it's just like, again, it's like, who cares? Okay, she's going to go to the cousin's game. Big deal. Let's just go have a nice day tomorrow. So that's the way it should have been. I don't get it.
There's a I would like to continue if that's okay.
Of course, Daria, go on as long as you want. I'm trying to reflect on what you said about the tensions between siblings and just what I've witnessed within my own family. So,
and with regards to the sports decoding community, I don't want to mention mention any names specifically, but on, the topic of the 7 deadly sins, greed is definitely a big one. It's definitely it's definitely a big one in the community, because I feel like everyone wants to be that one person that nails all the sports games, and they want to be, say, the king. They want to be the best. They want to be the one that has the bragging rights, that says, I have not missed a pick in 3 months. Meantime, you're charging $100 a pick. And the other person can charge $5, $10. They won't have as high as a percentage winning rate as the other people. But it's not, it's obvious that there's people that are obviously in it for the money. I don't think that there's people that even care about exposing the rigged games. I never see these people go out in NASCAR events, football games, baseball games, any type of games, going out there and telling people that it's all rigged. Envy also. Everyone wants to be. Everyone wants to be the best. Without giving credit where credit is due. And would they have been able to figure out how they rigged the games without you?
There was a time when I used to make $60,000.
Hold on, Daria. We'll continue with Daria after the break.
And all my friends made around the same amount of money. I read the book and I said, okay, instead of acting like I make 60K, I'm gonna act like I make 100K. And I'm gonna do the things necessary to make the 100K. 6 months later, 120K. 6 months later, 180K. 6 months later, $250,000. Changed the way I was thinking about things. And because I was thinking about things differently, I operated differently. I walked differently. I dressed differently. I talked differently. I got around different people because I was ready for success. I was thinking ahead. I was thinking positive. And I was dreaming big, dreaming of being this colossal sized influence in people's lives. And I'm on that journey now, piece by piece, day by day.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
We had to get the quick thing. And they've fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having a hard trouble again. So I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor, Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, it's TFR. Roof frequency rate.
You feel better from the ground where you are.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. Daria is talking about the problem she has within her own family, and I think everything she's saying is probably things that a lot of people can relate with. And I think it really does boil down to growing up in this age of materialism. But let's get back out to Daria. And Daria, you're welcome to stay on and talk about this as much as possible, because so far I'm appreciating your call more than any other. It's the topic of the night, and I think everybody's relating. So please continue.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Also, when it comes to envy, I think it's definitely something that none of us are immune to. I think at some point we've all been jealous. We've all been envious of someone, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a friend, whether it's, anybody. We've all been envious of someone, whether it's, the car they drive, the guy they have, or the girl they have, or the house they have, or even like the marriage, the relationships that they have, whether it's, marriages or, relationships. It's definitely something that nobody is immune to. I mean, we've all been envious of someone at some point. We've always wanted to have, the better hair than, someone, or drive the better car, or have the bigger house, or, have the hot boyfriend, or, it's definitely something that none of us are immune to it. We've all been in that place. Or even like someone that makes, more money than you, yeah, when it comes to, the sports decoders, I don't want to call anyone out specifically. I will say this. I have nothing but respect for, the people that, decode sports, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's tough. It's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. A lot of work goes into it. Whether you're looking at statistics, you're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the riddles that they give out. You want to be, put out the best picks that you can. And, even if, with other people, because at the end of the day, it's a choice. You choose to gamble. You're choosing to gamble. No one is forcing you. Gambling is a choice. Me personally, I'm not in for the sports picks. I don't care about sports picks. There is definitely a lot of competition when it comes to decoding sports. Everyone wants to be the best. Everyone wants to have, the highest, percentage rate. They all want the bragging rights. They all want the, we figured out who's going to the World Series, or who's going to win the Super Bowl, or, who's going to win, the NBA Finals. They all want the bragging rights. But at the end of the day, are they really exposing anything? Are they ever going to, these sports stadiums and, talking to people about how their their sports are rigged? Or do they just not care? You know, do they not care about, you know,
well, the
exposing to the
people you're
world
talking
how-
about, Daria, the people you're talking about, I mean, they got into this to make money. That's what the use of the knowledge is to them, and it's all about money. And then also they see the way to market themselves is to attack the person they learned from, who has the most fame, if you will, from talking about this subject as a way to climb the ladder. That's their strategy. And again, what are those things? You'd say that they're committing pride because they're acting like they're greater than their teacher. They're being greedy. Some of them are angry, so they might have a little wrath. Envy is definitely the one, because then they're talking about how they deserve more. They deserve more. It's just like, I don't know if you deserve more. I don't think you deserve anything. So anyway, yeah, these people are suffering. Oh, go ahead.
My question to them, you know, to anyone that decodes sports, my question to them is, would they have been able to figure out how they're rigging the sport without this knowledge?
We know the answer to that question. No.
Absolutely not. You
No.
know,
and that's the thing too.
Like, you know,
that's the thing too. They spend their whole day just doing nothing but sports, and then they're like, well, do they realize that the person who they're trying to compare themselves to is like spending his whole day keeping up with everything? They're not doing anything other than just decoding sports. So anyway, but yeah,
it's like now it's like a business for them. You know, now it's like a job. You know, it's like, I feel like now this is what they make their money off of. You know, and you know, if I don't think they're interested in exposing the rigged sports, because you know, if everyone, you know, wakes up and they realize how the sports are rigged, you know, a lot of the organizations, you know, they start to go bankrupt. You know, people stop going to the sports games. You know, they can't make money anymore. So I feel like they're not interested in, you know, stopping, you know, exposing anything. I mean, you know, why can't they, you know, give out, you know, their picks for free on Twitter instead of charging people $50, you know, for the same reason, because there is no money in free picks. They want to be able to get paid for their work.
Right.
And
to remind all these people out there why I have way more supporters than them. First of all, I'm the source. Second of all, I did everything for 5 years for free and helped win at an exponential rate. And that's part of the reason it's harder to do it now, because before it was a lot easier to call games. Like Troll was just in the chat mocking that Mahomes didn't win on Christmas. Well, there was also a very consistent pattern with the Raiders that we've won on about a bazillion times that failed on Christmas, which is weird. Raiders equals 74. Mahomes did not get his 74th win versus the Raiders, which was a big shocker, because that rarely misses. And every time that number's come up this season, and 1,000 times in the past as well, it's hit. So, but I guarantee you, if it wasn't 2023 and it was 2013, Mahomes wouldn't have missed that 74th win against the Raiders. That was something that used to never miss. But again, that's the consequence of teaching the knowledge and getting it out there. The Cabal is very much aware that we're on to them. And that, again, I had USA Today write their article about me January 2016. We're almost to the 8th anniversary of that article. So again, it's just, you know, people are clout chasers, and they're greedy, and they're envious, and they're selfish. And again, it's just a bad look for a lot of people. But yeah, it is sad that the reason I always taught this knowledge in an all-encompassing way to show how it's from the rigged election to the rigged sports game to the rigged news story to all the other stuff they're contriving. I did that to help people see the relevance of the knowledge and how connected it all was. And to give myself some credit, I did a good job at proving that this is what's going on. And it's obvious as everything once you're aware. And that these other people, all they care about is the sports thing because it's the moneymaker. And that's why they're not in it for the right reasons. And that's also why they try to come at their teacher and attack. So, yeah, these are bad people. These are bad people. And the bad people want to flip the script and make it seem like I'm the bad person. Like one of these guys has a British accent, and he's on here all the time claiming about how he's found Jesus and what a great person he is, and he's the greatest decoder there ever was, and he's not. But he's a really pathetic human being to watch, and he also reminds me of why I don't like religious people. You know, he found gematria, and now he's into religion too. Anyway, there's some cheeseball characters out here, and he's at the top of the list. But anyway, go ahead, Daria.
Aqua Viva guy?
What's that?
Is that the Aqua Viva guy?
No, but he'd be like the only person in the other guy. Those two guys are always in each other's chat.
That guy's a scumbag.
Yeah, he is. And that woman who tried to call in last week and promote his channel, that was also a scummy thing to do. But no, the guy I'm talking about is the one that we call the delusion. So.
Oh yeah, that guy. That's the guy that took that he stole a fine from King Richard, the Kobe fine, one of the Kobe fines.
He's the guy who said he was the best decoder because he was the only one who could do international football, but then was the only person in the community who missed the most obvious World Cup ever last year. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, Zach. Thank you for taking my call, and keep up the great work, Zach. Because at the end of the day, nobody, I don't care who is, I don't care who it is, we would never have known about this if it wasn't for you. And that's something that nobody can take away from you.
Well,
you would not have known about this if it wasn't for you. And they know it.
Well, I appreciate it, Daria. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Have a good night.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah, again, just like I think my mom's family, Daria's family, probably so many other families, the problems that exist in the family, it's become a human condition because of the environment we live in. It's like the environment is polluted. I think about my mom's family, her dad comes back from the war. He's dealing with some kind of mental trauma from the war, like a lot of people come back from the war. I think he had an alcohol problem. It's weird in my mom's family and my dad's family. It's weird how my mom, maybe that was something that they found in common. But like pretty much everyone in their families are alcoholics, but not them. They don't drink. My dad really doesn't drink. My mom almost never drinks. She'll have a margarita every now and then. And I actually like when my mom has a margarita, because then she's like, I actually don't mind being around you right now. One margarita for mom. But yeah, it's just, alcohol is something that's just destroyed a lot of families and just brought all kinds of problems. And, my parents were both born in the early 50s, and that's the TV age. And then the TV's coming into the household and is bringing new ideas, and people are having new desires, and maybe not the best things to be on the mind, but they say Elvis really sexualized all the young ladies. Might be true. I mean, all of my mom's sisters are all huge Elvis fans. They all pretty much got pregnant in high school. That didn't help out their lives. That didn't make life easier to be pretty much all of them single moms at a young age. But yeah, it's like until people can step back and see what this world and the things in it are doing, it's like these deadly sins, as they call them, they're gonna continue to fester. But anyhow, let's go out to the next caller. 425, you're on.
Zach is racist towards black critics. Zach is racist towards black critics. Zach is racist towards black critics.
I can't understand your recording. Just call in and use your own voice if you got some message. 216.
Yo, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, man, I called in around after 10 o'clock, and I heard all the callers, confessing their sins. I look at the title hold up, everybody's confessing their sins to Zach tonight. We should call you Father Hubbard for tonight, man. Father Hubbard.
Well, tonight's topic is the 7 deadly sins, and which one are you most inflicted by?
Well, Personally, I would probably say pride, man. Personally, I would say pride. And I heard another caller mention that same Pacific Sin. So throughout my life, I would probably say pride, man. You know, just.
So what's your example?
You know,
what's your example of your sin of pride? How's that been for you?
I would say, man, just, you know, wanting things done my way and not seeing no other alternatives. You know, there's no other alternative. You know, I want things done my way. I want to see things done my way. And, you know, it's kind of like that my way or the highway type of scenario. You know, and it's not always the best personality to walk around with, you know, because pride goes before the fall. That's what the proverb says.
Right.
You know, pride goes before the fall. But personally, I would say that. But when I saw the topic, when I called in, it reminded me of something that I saw on YouTube about a pope. I don't know if you know this, but there was a pope back in 897, Pope Formosus. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. But when he died, the Catholic Church actually resumed his body and put his corpse on trial for his sins, okay, that he committed while he was alive. And they actually decapitated his dead body, put it back in the ground, and a few years later, they dug him back up, put him on trial again, and did more things to his body, and then put him back in the ground. You know, like weird stuff. Man.
That is
Very weird.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
That's the first thing that came.
I gotta look that up. I did not know that.
His name was Pope Formosus. I believe that was his name. But I put his name in the Gematriator, and it wasn't a surprise that his name's number 56, you know, in the reverse reduction cycle.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, that's, you know, personally, like I would say, you know, pride in my own personal life has been, you know, my best friend and my worst enemy, you know, especially being a man. You know, you can't separate a man from his pride. You know, a lot of men would rather go to their grave with their pride intact, you know, and I think that's, you know, one of the, I don't know if you want to call it a curse of just being a man in this world, man, just having so much pride, you know, for whatever the reason might be. But if I can, you know, I wanted to touch on that and something I saw on ESPN the other day pertaining to Amari Cooper and the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper became the second player in NFL history to get a 200-plus receiving yard game with 3 separate teams. And the only other player to do it was Terrell Owens. Now check this out, Zach. Amari Cooper wears the number 2. Now I'm looking at this on ESPN, and they had a picture of Amari Cooper, number 2, and his 3 teams that he, you know, did it with, and Terrell Owens, number 81, and the 3 teams that he did it with. And I think the similar teams that they both played for was Dallas. But the thing that stood out to me was the number 2 and the number 81. 281, the 60 of pride. And Allegiant Stadium, Zach, sums to 60, man. Sums to 60. So I don't know if I'm reaching on that one, but I just want to throw that out there for tonight, man. But yeah, man, we're confessing to you tonight, Zach, Father Hubbard.
Well, hey, you got all right. From what you know about me, which of the sins do you think I'm most afflicted by?
You know what, Zach? I've been watching you since the summer of 2017, whatever year that the Cavs won a championship. That was 2016. So I'll probably say we probably think about the same one, man. Pride, man. We're men. You know, we're men. You know, our pride, you know, is everything to us. You know, when we feel like we've been, you know, wronged or if we've been slighted, you know, even if we haven't been, you know, just the thought of it is enough to send us over the rails. you know, and you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. I'm assuming, you know, for myself personally, I can look back at certain situations in my life where, you know, I probably flew off the handle a little too early on a person, on a concept or a situation before I knew all the facts. So before I didn't probably even take the time to even gather all the information to make a sound decision. You know, I was just in the moment, you know, and I feel like my pride was being attacked. So, you know, I sent just as many, you know, darts that was being sent my way, you know, and, you know, that, you know, we're men, you know, and we tend to do that. You know what I mean? But once again, though, I will say this, though. I'm not necessarily saying that that is a negative in every circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, pride is there, you know, and we need to have a certain level of pride in our accomplishments and the things that we do in our life, especially when, you know, we start from the bottom and work our way all the way up. You know, I mean, there's a such thing as being humble, you know, and being graceful about certain things that you do in your life. But, you know, it's give and take, man. It's give and take. So, yeah, Zach, I would probably say, you know, pride would probably be it. Man. Pride. I mean, I don't really see anything else, man, other than the pride, you know. And all the men who call in tonight, I would imagine that would probably be top of all of our list, would be pride. Man.
Yeah, it might be. They say it's according to the people who put it out, they say it's the worst sin. So I'm too proud to admit that I'm too prideful, but yeah, you're probably right. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, Zach, thanks for taking my call, man. I appreciate it, though.
All right, friend. You have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, take care. Let's go out to New York, 646.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Zach, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. The sin that I'm like the most guilty of is lust.
Okay.
And you know, I'm just like I have a girlfriend and I can't stop like sticking my dick in other women and then bringing it home to her. I just can't stop doing it.
Okay. Have you talked to her about it?
No, man. Why would I do that?
Well, don't you think you should?
No, man. I mean, I need to. I know it's not right, but I can't stop. And because when I see like the big booty girls walking down the street, I can't stop. I just have to talk to them.
You know what? I just got this hunch. I could be wrong, but something tells me you're probably a lot closer to being the 40-year-old virgin. Am I wrong?
I have no idea who you're referring to.
I'm referring to you. But hey, thanks for the call. Let's go out to 610. You can just tell he wasn't serious and probably is the 40-year-old virgin. What's up, 610? Okay. Let's go out to 267. 267.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, is this Zach?
It is.
Oh, my bad, man. Okay, so I didn't know. So real quick, very new here. Didn't know you were going to call me by 610. I had no idea, so I just wanted to make sure it was me. My man. So first time caller. My man actually, so real quick, I don't know the topic is tonight, so I apologize for that. But I have heard since I've been on the line that guys have been talking about, you know, their sins and pride, things like that. But I just want to say, first of all, my man put me on to you about a year ago. So I've been following you on and off now for about a year, man. And I'll say to you from me, it's hard to deny anything you put out there, man. I know you say it all the time. I know you back it and you back it up a million times, you know, all those kinds of things, man. So very new, still learning. But I just want to say first and foremost, I think you're legit, dog, for real.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. So real quick, just so I can catch up to speed, what is the main topic tonight you rolling with, if you don't mind me asking?
Tonight we're just talking about the 7 deadly sins and just seeing what people got to say. What are they most afflicted by? What's their biggest problem in their life?
All right, right on. Okay, all right. I mean, a couple calls ago, obviously before the idiot hit you up, my man said pride, man, it seems to be the running theme. You put your feelings on there about your pride a little bit, and from what I heard so far. It's hard for me to disagree, man. I don't think it's even gender specific. I don't think it's just men. I mean, I think we've been kind of, lack of a better term, I guess, kind of brainwashed or led to believe that males are the most prideful people. But I know I grew up, so personally, I was raised by a bunch of females, man, and they are the most powerful people I've ever met in my life, dog. So I think it goes both ways. It's funny. It's a thin line sometimes, man, between I think what man was saying about levels of pride in a sense. Like you want to be passionate and full of energy with things that you feel strongly about, but you also want to make sure you're not dipping into, I guess, that arrogant side of things where you just you don't listen to other people's thoughts and feelings on things. Not saying everybody has valid points all the time and all those kinds of things, but pride can blind you, man, and I can't say that, I'm sure you're aware, if you're here long enough, you're gonna be blinded by your pride and, either miss out on something or misread something, miscommunicate with somebody, man, and it's a learning process, man, and once you, like I said, I think pride is necessary to a point, but man, you better be able to kind of rein it in a little bit and just try to stay grounded more times than anything. That's how I feel about it.
Sure. Yeah. The more I think about it, I mean, I guess I'm the more I'm thinking about. Oh, hold on. We'll be right back, guys. Commercial break.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
I'm looking at the crowd here and the tens of thousands, probably 100,000 plus people here. And you did it all without burning down buildings? Without looting? I didn't know that was possible. No shit. According to the media, these explosions are bullshit. Bullshit. When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, they're supposed to burn it all down. These explosions are bullshit. Let's see that. These explosions are bullshit. Oh shit. What's the problem they talking about? This fight has only just begun. Keep fighting. Justice begun. We're gonna walk down and I'll be there with you. The best is yet to come. When you catch somebody in the fall, you're allowed to go by very different rules. It's so egregious, it's so bad, so base that people don't even believe it can't be true. That's why my father sent a tweet. Patriots descend on Washington, D.C. Amen. And a woman. No shit. According to the media, these explosions are bullshit. Bullshit. When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, they're supposed to burn it all down. These explosions are bullshit. Let's see that. These explosions are bullshit. Bullshit. What's the problem they talking about? We gather together in the heart of our nation's capital to save our democracy. And Mike just gonna have to come for Boris. If he doesn't, it will be a sad day for our country. Proof hides evidence. Criminals hide evidence. I have no idea. But see that coming? Because you'll never take back a country with weakness.
So let every adversary against democracy, against liberty, be overturned right now.
So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. No shit. According to the media, these explosions are bullshit. 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 When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, there's the bomb.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been popularized.
Okay, I imagine the sound is about finished. Again, we'd actually hear it playing if the audio wasn't screwed up, but 267 got interrupted. Just so people know where they are on the hold board. Again, we got an hour show left. Everybody who's on hold, we will get to you. After 267, we got 531, then 916, then 619, then 516, then 661, then 510, then 909, then 727, then 951. I know we'll get through all those calls before the end of the show. If you want to be part of the show, you better phone in now, because after that, it's hard to say, but let's go back out to 267. You got interrupted by the break. You're back on, friend.
Yo, man. Yeah, it's all good, dog. Well, real quick, I swear, man, them commercials always creep me the fuck out with that audio shit.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah. But no, so it's actually back to you, man. You were telling me about how you felt about Pride, and then literally that's when the commercial started going on. So it's actually back to you, man.
Oh, okay. Good reminder. I was just saying, Pride, it really does impact a lot of different things. So I was just even thinking, like, when we're trying to wake up our friends and family and they don't want to hear it, really part of that is their ego, which is pride, because they don't want to think that they've been fooled or tricked, or they're so proud of their country or their sports team or whatever. So, yeah, pride is really all over the place. And perhaps that is why they say it's actually the most deadly of all the sins. Stops things from happening.
Honestly, man, you preach to the choir, man. I mean, it's like, it's funny, like, so I've been on more of that type thing, like even, I think I feel like that my whole life, if that makes sense. You come into different kind of feelings about yourself as you go through things, and you get older and all that kind of stuff. So that's my way of saying, like, so I say this even for a thing too. When I started eating better, man, my mind opened up more too. Because if you think, I think you talked about this, a lot of the processed stuff we eat, it clutters you, it blocks you up. You get inflammation, all those kinds of things, and all that, affects your mindset too, man. And makes you easier to prey on. So once you start treating your body better, your mind opens up, and it's able to just receive more things and be able to filter through things without being so clogged up.
Absolutely. It's just like you put bad stuff in your car, it's not going to run right, and it's not going to run very long, and it's going to break down. I mean, it's the exact same thing. We're an organic machine, so.
Dude, talk about it, man. I tell people all the time, if you're going to take care of your car and your crib, why can't you take care of your body the same way?
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of people take a lot more care of their possessions than they actually do themselves.
All the time, man. So real quick, so I do want to talk to you some more, but you laid out like 20 different area codes like a minute ago. So I'm a dip, man. I appreciate you. I don't know if I'm gonna call, man, but I'm gonna try to call again, man, because I appreciate you what you're talking about, man. Not just from the gematria standpoint, but how you trying to just get people just in general to live a better life for themselves, man. So I'll be tuning in, man. For you just be safe, all right, man.
You too. Thank you, 267. You have a good night.
Peace.
Take care. All right. 531. You're on.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? What's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
So I hear people talking. What are the other 7 deadly sins? Because all I hear is pride. Can you list the other ones?
All right.
for
So
me,
this
please?
is in the order that the church ranked them in terms of worst to least worst: pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, sloth.
Sloth. Wow. Okay. That's funny because that's pretty close to what I had. I was sitting here just chilling, and I said, well, I'm going to make my own 7 and see how close it is. I had, number 1, I had it as getting even, which is basically the whole pride thing. You know, people like to get even. Their pride gets in the way of them. Next one I had was, like sex and cheating. Then I had money and greed. For the next one, I had curiosity killed the cat, or, sticking your nose where it don't belong. Working at the rumor mill, jealousy, and karma. So that's pretty close to what I came up with too. So
How did you figure
Yeah.
karma
What-
as
what-
a sin? How did you figure that one?
Well, karma in general, I'm saying just 7 deadly sins. Obviously, if you're out there doing bad, then bad stuff probably come back to you.
Okay, I see. I see how you mean it. Okay.
Yeah. But that's pretty close to what I had, I'd say.
So which one?
nice to
So
hear
which
people
one on
calling
your
me out.
list? Which one on your list are you most afflicted by?
Pride, man. That's everybody's is pride.
What are you the most
Should be
prideful about?
anyway.
What's the thing that you're most prideful about?
Just respect, man. Everything should be about respect,
Well,
That's-
respect is something that should be there, but respect has to be earned. So are you saying like you feel like you don't get enough respect, or how is that?
Oh no, I'm just saying. I don't know maybe the best way to say it, but in general, like pride, like I thought you were asking me like what I'm most prideful about, as in, I'll go to war over my respect type,
I see.
That's not what
I see.
what I'm talking about,
If people aren't putting respect on your name, okay, I see.
Right. It ain't even got to be putting respect on my name. It's just, if I see someone getting disrespected in front of me too, it's, like a woman or something, it's hard not for me to fucking, so, but anyways, no, I just want to call in and give support. I don't call in too often, but I see you around and I like your show, and I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I don't know how people can deny you. I mean, I understand one thing, or making fun of you or trolling you, but to say that what you're putting out is false information, I just don't understand how anybody could say that.
Yeah, that they can't be serious.
Yeah, and it sucks because when you Google your name or you go to YouTube, put your name in there, some of these troll channels pop up, and that's how that stuff gets started.
Exactly, and it has an impact because a lot of people get persuaded by the trolls, which to me is also amazing, but it's what happens. So
yeah, a bunch of weak-minded people, I guess, getting led like some sheep. One thing I'd like to say is, that film by the Obamas, I watched it. If anybody out there hasn't seen it, you're not really missing nothing. It ain't nothing special. But they do like to take their time, and I wouldn't be surprised if, 10, 15 years from now, there's another film by the Obamas that comes out. And this first one, it wasn't very gruesome. It wasn't very brutal. There wasn't no like craziness. But in the next 10, 15 years, there's going to be another film by the Obamas, and it's going to be anybody that's not woken up yet. That film's going to wake you up, because I know they're going to do some another wicked stuff, and they're going to put everything in that.
You don't got to wait that long. They got 2 more films coming out next year, so we'll see what they're about.
Do they really?
They do.
Wow. See, I didn't even know they had films coming out, but I already knew that they were going to make some more and start putting some more truth out there, you know. But this one wasn't nothing. If you haven't seen it, you're not really missing much. Go exercise or something, you know.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, and the NBA, I don't know if anybody's seen the NBA tonight, but I know this one's for all the sports people out there. They always love it. And the first games that finished, there was obviously 3 games, so 6 teams. The 6 teams, the scores were 92, 102, 112, 122, 132, and 144.
Huh.
So
going too crazy.
Out of the first, 92, 102, 112, 22, 32, and 144. I just wake your people up. Go show your friends, your families, your neighbors that tonight, and just, you know, keep waking people up. Everybody, I know you got a long call hold out there, so I won't keep you forever, but appreciate it, Zach. Thanks for keeping the lines open, man. Really appreciate it.
Welcome. Thanks for the call. You have a good night.
You too.
All right. Also, if you don't want to call in and talk about your sins, there is an opposite to the 7 deadly sins. Like the opposite of pride is humility. The opposite of greed is charity. The opposite of wrath, I guess, I suppose would be something like compassion, empathy, maybe. Patience, maybe. Maybe it's more patience. Instead of getting angry and upset, you're like calm and collected. Envy. What's the opposite of envy? I mean, what's not envy? Just being content with what you have. I guess just, you know, appreciative. Yeah, maybe appreciative of the things that you do have, rather than like, oh, I got to have that too because they have that. Lust, probably chastity, right? Like your chastity belt. My daughter's going out to prom night, man. We're getting the chastity. Okay. Gluttony. What's the opposite of gluttony? Like moderation. Sloth. Hardworking. So if you'd rather not confess your sins, maybe you can call in and talk about what your best asset is. Let's go out to 916. 916, you're on.
Hello.
Like, who thinks to do this stuff? I mean, geez. 619.
Hey, Zach, just wanted to come on and say a quick thank you for turning $5 into $400 off your pick, saying the Broncos beat the Patriots this past Sunday night, man. Great pick.
Well, I know I didn't help you out with that one. So are you trolling me? Oh, you already hung up. Let's go out to 516. 516, you're on. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Zach, how are you, man?
Yeah, what's up?
Good, man. Long time listener. This is actually my first time coming in because, like, your live actually spoke to me. So I was like, all right, I think this is the day that I'm going to decide to, like, call in. But so it's 3 actually. 2 I overcame, and then 1 I'm kind of dealing with right now. So I used to be very prideful, and I used to have a lot of wrath. And with time and age and maturity, I tend to control my pride and my wrath. So what I'm dealing with right now currently is lust.
As are a lot of people. So how's that going?
Yeah. So it's up and down. So I'm in a relationship, and I'm in a committed relationship. I haven't, like, stepped out or anything, but the temptation is real. Like, I don't know, because I know you're married, but I don't know in the past if you've ever been single and you've gone to a relationship, you've noticed that women hit on you like a lot more. And you ask yourself, like,
wait, hold on, pause. You're saying women hit on you a lot more when they know you're in a relationship. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's crazy to me because when I was single, as a single man, I didn't have that much of a problem attracting women. Like, once in a blue moon or once in a while I'll get lucky.
But then for some strange reason, when you're in a relationship, it's like you get 10, like it's weird. Like I try to figure it out, but it's just so weird. I don't know if they're attracted by the fact that another female has you, so it's like a game for them. But recently, I almost dabbled into something, but I controlled myself. But at the same time, this person is being very aggressive with me. So I'm trying every means to avoid it, but it's hard, like to the point where I almost slipped up. But like I said, I'm hanging in there, but it's not even funny. Like it's so bad. And my fear is like, I betray my girl, and then she's like the best thing that ever happened. So I know she does not deserve that. But like I'm trying my hardest.
Well, you're doing it.
But it's
you
hard.
Just got to keep doing it. And you got to make sure that person who's coming at you like
exactly.
that, you got to stay away from them. But there'll be others. And I mean, that's for people who don't know this, it is true. For it is a competition thing, and it is a game, and it's like it's people wanting to have power over the people, because even though this woman who's coming after you, she might not know your woman. She wants to be like, oh, this man's taken, so he must have something going for him here, and watch how I take him away from his woman. This is the game, and this is why society's so messed up. It's also why single guys who know the game will go out to the bar and wear a wedding ring even though they're not married, because they know that's going to help them way more with their pickup game. And it's sad that this is the world that we live in. But yeah, you have to control yourself. And like you said, if you know you have a good woman who deserves that, you got to control yourself, because you don't want to lose that good relationship. The woman who's scheming like that, who has that mentality, that's not the woman you want to be with. Yeah, maybe she's attractive, and you might like the sexual experience, but that's the same woman who's going to be out looking for the next guy as fast as she met you too. So
exactly, that's somebody you just look at her for a good time. Because if I were to dabble, you think I'll take her seriously for a long-term relationship? Hell no. Come on, like not at all. But like I said, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And then it's like, what is going on? Like this, I've noticed it has become more intense. And I'm just like, what is it? Like, is God trying to test me? I don't know if you believe in God, but it's like, is this a test? Like, it's crazy to me.
Everything in this world is a test, really. This world is a test. And the people who control this world, I mean, they're trying to manipulate every human condition. They're trying to tempt your taste buds with all this shit that you should not put in your mouth. Women are out there trying to tempt good men. I mean, you have to control yourself. People are not controlling themselves, especially when it comes to, I mean, look at the average American. Does it look like they're controlling themselves? I go to the grocery store, people's grocery carts all full of all this junk food. They're fat as hell. I'm like, do these people have mirrors in their house? I mean, do you think that's what you need in your shopping cart right now?
Of course.
It's crazy.
I totally agree with you. Like, I'm like a gym rat. And then I have friends around me that tells you, Rudy, you need to lose, Rudy, help me lose weight. It's like, you go to the gym with me, but I tell you, like, the gym is like 50% of what you do. Obviously, it's the diet. It's what you put in your mouth. And the previous caller made a good point. Put the good things in your body, and you see how you have mental clarity. And it's a big, like, I recently started eating clean 2 years ago. The pandemic was like a big wake-up call for me, and I feel amazing. The best I've ever felt in like a long time. And I think I'm so energized and so energetic. Like, people see it. And apparently I'm attracting more people. And I think the women see it too, which makes it even worse. I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, but I notice with the women, it's outrageous. And I've not gotten this much attention in like a while. So I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? But like I say, it's all about self-control at the end of the day, and I'm trying. So.
Well, you're doing it. But I hear that you're saying, man, this temptation's hard. This woman, man, but yeah, you got to keep controlling yourself. And again, a lot of guys can relate with that situation, but not a lot of guys have been able to ignore the temptation. And when I was younger, there was times where I didn't ignore that temptation, and and then if you do fall into that temptation and get away with it, then you got to live with the guilt and feeling like I'm not being as good of a person as I should be. So yeah, but you're doing the right thing, and yeah, it's hard if like this person's a coworker or somebody that's just around you all the time. But yeah, you gotta distance yourself from that person, wherever they are. Just stay away from them. So, but yeah, good call.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, bro. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah. You have a good night. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, it's crazy how the world is, but that's exactly how it is. So 661.
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
Not bad. I like the show tonight. I'll touch on the real quick, the 7 deadly sins. I guess one that like maybe a lot of people could relate to this is when you realize that you've had false pride in something that you thought was true, but you never really proved it. And then when it was proved false, you became humbled because of that. And that was kind of what you alluded to, what you were exactly talking about, actually, just a couple callers back, where, you know, when you go down these rabbit holes and you start learning things, it's like you realize I had false pride. I realize that, you know, maybe as an American, where I didn't really do anything to earn that pride either. You know, my grandfather was in World War II, yes, but me personally, I didn't do anything to earn that, you know? So am I happy to be an American? Am I glad? Do I have hopes for, and I'm proud of certain things? Yes, but overall, like it was an ignorant pride. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And a lot of people have that about
So
one thing or another. For a lot of people, it's trivial
But the
things like their
beautiful
sports
thing-
team. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, but the beautiful thing is you can overcome it if you're humble. Humility does that. It's like the opposite. You know, it's almost like a natural law type of thing. It's like humility comes in, and that pride just goes away, because then you realize that was all an illusion. You know, so yeah, so it could be a beautiful thing. You know, it could go from something that you're totally, and then but the other thing is that pride can come back and build up again when you start learning things, and you want to share it with people, and then they just want to stay in ignorance. Then you can almost put yourself back up above them and feel like you're above them. But I always have to tell myself, how was I 10 years ago? How was I 15 years ago? I was exactly like them. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like a constant. You have to bring yourself back down, you know, for me anyways. So, but yeah, can I mention a couple 322 or 1322 real quick?
Sure.
Do you remember the LA sheriffs, the 4 sheriff's deputies committed suicide in one weekend?
Right. Robert Luna's office. Right.
Exactly. And, well, you know, they let that kind of like fall out of the news. It kind of simmered down or whatever. And they had a former sheriff's deputy come out on the news saying, and the whole story, and the reason why I even bothered clicking on it was because the timestamp on the video, it was like KTLA, or I forget what news organization, but the timestamp on it was 322, 322.
Sure, I see that a lot.
They showed a little blip interview. Yeah. They showed the little blip interview of the guy, and his whole thing was, yeah, they run such a rough shift over there. You have to work overtime. You have to work double overtime. You have to work holidays. You have to do this and that. And if you you know, you're getting worked into the ground, you're getting PTSD, you're getting this and that. And if you push back, they have ways to take care of you. And it was kind of like a vain, like allusion, like to a threat, you know. But at the same time, it was putting out like a false. Like, come on, dude. You think that, people are overworked? That's why 4 guys off themselves in one weekend?
Yeah, somebody left a comment like that when I covered that about how overworked the police force is and how much stress there are. But it's like, but really, in light of what I showed, and all in 1 week, that doesn't sound a little suspect to you? So, yeah, I hear it.
Yeah. All right, I know you got other callers. I'll call back in with another school. Well, maybe I'll just tell you in case I don't get to come back in real quick. Did you know there's another branch of Skull and Bones in Utah?
No.
The University of Utah that was opened in like 1909.
Really? There's a branch of Skull and Bones there?
By a Yale alum.
I did not. I'm going to look into that.
1909.
I did not know that. You know, that's interesting to me because Alex Smith went to school there, and when his leg got busted, it was a huge 322 ritual. So that's weird. I'm going to look into that.
Well, remember, the only reason I knew there was one somewhere in Utah, and I know there's a chapter of Bohemian Club in Utah, but I knew there was a Skull and Bones somewhere in Utah because I looked into Orrin Hatch's death because Orrin Hatch was a senator from Utah, and he died a couple years back or last year, I forget when, but he died on March 22nd.
Yep.
And so
Also
and I
interesting.
remember looking through, I found a Salt Lake Tribune article from the 50s or something that said he was in a Skull and Bones fraternity. I was like, what are they talking about? Then it wasn't until just recently that I found out that they opened one in 1909, a chapter at University of Utah. And apparently it is in this book that that was written. Now I have to verify this. I don't have the book. There's a book called From Heart to Heart. It was written by Russell M. Nelson, who's the current prophet president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And in that book, he says that he was tapped to go into Skull and Bones in his junior year. And he went to University of Utah. So if that's true, I have to verify it. That book is out of publication, and it costs like $1,900, dude, the cheapest one I could find. So I have to go on the they have it archived. I have to go on there and read and verify that he said that. If he said that, dude, that is lining up so much stuff, man. So much stuff is going on. You know, University of Utah, that's where the first non-fungible token basically idea came from. It's called the Utah Teapot. You can look it up. That was the first NFT basically. That was from like 1979. They have a huge computer. They're all involved with the NSA. It goes on and on. They're all in New World Order, the whole area. Anyways, I'll let the other callers get in, but thanks for the great show, man. And any comments on what I just said, if you have it.
I'm seeing an article right here. I never knew that there was another branch of Skull and Bones at University of Utah, so that blows my mind. But I'm already connecting things, and you just made another good connection. So I'm going to look into that in a big way. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a great night. Thanks a lot.
You too,
Oh, and one last thing. Daria said what I always think when I hear about these little squabbles and all these other little naysayers and whatever, dude. 99.9% of us wouldn't know about Gematria if it wasn't for your channel. Period. End of story. And that's it.
Thanks, Brian. All right, you have a good night, man. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, learn something new every day. We'll be right back, everybody. Last break, and then we're taking your calls.
In the same sentence, and to make the insidious as devastating and as ominous as it should be, and make the opportunity as bright as it can be. But we've got to learn to paint by language and by emotions how much we hate the wrong in order to develop the good. And this is some stuff you can't be mild with. See, you can't take the mild approach to the weeds in your garden. You've got to hate weeds bad enough to go kill them. You say, well, I've learned to handle this stuff. This is not stuff you handle. This is stuff you devastate. This is stuff you've got to kill. If something is going after some treasure and some value, you've got to go after it with a high, hateful attempt by word, by language, by emotions, whatever's necessary to get the job done to illustrate the evil and the possibility of good.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods fill with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
TFR.
My faith in that thing is all I need to remember.
Frequency radio.
Okay. Let me see. I think 510. 510, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I heard you about the whole stuff that they basically, I feel like, it could be the 7 defining characteristics of the modern American population. And it's unfortunate. You're really smart, really well researched, but a lot of the callers, you're dumb as shit. Bunch of fucking.
Okay, it's a troll. His whole call was like all weird and muddled, and then the troll came out. 909, you're on. What a troll.
Zach, real quick, I just wanted to see if you saw the latest piece of popcorn predictive programming, a movie called Civil War.
Yeah, we talked about it the other week. Yeah, we covered it.
Okay, I missed it. All right, that's all I got. I just wanted to chime in real quick.
Yeah, it seems like nobody saw the video when I covered it because everyone keeps telling me about it. Again, they showed the preview for it. That news of the preview broke exactly 201 days after the Alex Garland guy, since it's his film. So, anyhow.
Thanks, dude.
All right, take care. Yeah, Andre Brower was dead at the same time. He was in the Civil War movies, and that news was trending 201 days from his upcoming birthday. Remember, 201 goes to the whole Gematria Confederate and the whole ritual with January 6th. And anyhow, 727, you're on 727.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, Zach, you know what? I first heard you on Passio, like when you were just, I think, learning the business or learning the whole deal. Is that when you called him? You're like a call-in guy. You remember that?
Well, he took my call one time, and funny enough, I had to call in like 30 times before he took the call, and it was actually before I was even covering the significance of the number 201. But if you ever want to see the episode where I got in on Mark Passio's show, he took me as the last call in episode 201.
So here, oh, for real? No shit. So here's the deal. Like, for some reason, I somehow Googled him, like, what the fuck is up in the world? What the F is up in the world, you know? And he came up, you know, with his, and I hit him like episode like 56. He's like, look, man, you know how he is. He's like, if you want to know what's up, start number 1, 2, 3. So I did, and then there you are. And dude, man, you're like so fucking excited, man. Oh, can I say that, Farm? I'm sorry, but you're so excited, man. I was like, it caught me because I'm a numbers guy, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you taught me a lot. But and I'm not gonna give you any fucking hugs though. But the Killer Boys. So did you know that Vegas is building a hotel right now? Like a new one, like a Marriott. It's like Element and I forget the other brand, like combined with one. On one side they got 322 rooms. The other side they got 119 rooms.
Go figure. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Safest place in the world, bro.
Yeah.
So do me a favor, bro. Go back to Randy S with that what was that, a sticker? You had like 116, save 4,000, like an auto sticker.
Oh,
Let me
yeah,
show
yeah,
you
yeah.
something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
A little while back.
from the Tesla thing in the movie he was
So
talking about. Yeah, okay.
yeah, so if you look at that, right? So what is it? What's the Mason saying?
All his number?
Right? All his number, right? Right. So you guys talked about the red. Is that why I was putting it out there, the date and all?
Yeah,
Right?
he was.
I didn't get to hear it.
Yeah, he was making observation how it could be about the date. One of the numbers on there was 112. The upcoming Super Bowl is on the 11th day of the second month. So
Right. Did you ever see the movie Adjustment Bureau? Remember that?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's Leo DiCaprio and all. I guess they go in people's dream and fucking address them or whatever. So check this out, bro. All is number 116. What's that mean? Do you know?
Well, it has different meanings. But hey, I'm gonna let a few
It
more people
does,
get in
right?
before we're out of
Because a lot
show
of
because we
people-
got 15
Right,
minutes
it was
left and
in-
15
It was
callers.
in Back to the Future, Zach. Back to the Future. You remember 116?
Okay, yeah, and then right. Twin Pines Mall. Okay.
Right. But that was Twin Pines Mall, right? And everybody said, well, Lone Pine Mall, right? 116, Zach, is 11 weeks, 6 days. That's 83 days, dude. You missed it, bro. The first day, the first of the year, which was actually the last game of last year, they waited till midnight to kick it to make sure they hit 83 points. They start to kick it 8 seconds left, finish it with 3 seconds. You were on a party or something, I think. You missed the whole boat, bro. It's all about the king, bro. You missed it all, unless you're a shield.
You can just tell that guy is just some goofy guy, just talking nonsense. Yeah. Sometimes I let these goofy people go on too long. I was never on the third episode of Mark Passio. Anyway, let's go out to 951. What's up, 951? (951) Hello. We got the most goofballs ever for a show tonight. Just, I guess, the deadly sinners, man, they're extra provoked. 470.
Yeah.
470.
You been having some fucking, you been having some fucking trolls, bro. Like, this shit is crazy.
Oh, hey, I'm saving your number. I know who this is. I've been trying to get your number forever.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing, Jay?
Hopefully you haven't now. I reached out about the kidney stone stuff. I don't think you saw any of the messages. I can't remember if your number is the same.
You reached out to me?
Yeah. But I think you might have changed your number.
Okay. Well, now I'm gonna save your number in my phone, so I won't miss your call anymore. I'm sorry. How you doing?
Okay. Well, right now I'm in the middle of a 24 hour urine collection for like kidney stone stuff. But I saw you doing the thing about the 7 deadly sins and stuff like that. I don't know, like some of these people are just weird. It's like why do people call me, ask you what the show is about? Like it should be in the fucking title what the show is about. Like,
right.
I don't understand. People, I just don't understand people. Like I don't get it. And, but I mean, to be honest, like I can't even give like one sin because it's like except for like sloth, I've never really been like a lazy person. I've always been, if anything, it's always been I'm having too much energy, even when I shouldn't. And I've never really been like. I guess you could say I kind of dabbled into greed a little bit, but that was only for like a short while. Like after I started making my own money, I was able to buy a whole bunch of stuff that I could never, like, really buy before. Like I would have to wait like at least like for my birthday or Christmas and shit like that. And like I finally got to be able to buy the stuff that I want. But I mean, But when it comes to the other ones, I feel like they're all like intertwined with each other, and I've always been like, it's always taken like a near death experience for me to fucking realize like, okay, like I should probably stop behaving this way. Like envy, wrath, pride are definitely probably like my biggest one. And honestly, bro, like less, like and gluttony as well. Like I've struggled with all of those to a very, very intense extent. Like pride, like you probably fucking already know, like I don't like asking for help. And like I would literally I would like whenever I had a job and like I needed a ride, I would literally not even ask. Like I would always wait for people to ask me like if I needed a ride type shit before I even fucking like ask. And it's just like envy because I used to envy people a lot. Not want to be other people, but I used to want the things that other people had. Like I used to like a big one with me was like I used to want to have a lot of siblings because I always used to suffer with like loneliness and shit like that. Like I used to like envy like my cousins because they had like a house full of siblings and it was never quiet and shit like that. And I know and they always used to like tell me like, yo, like you should be glad like you don't have to fucking be over here like and always listen to like fucking babies crying and people running around the fucking house and shit. You know, I wish I could just fucking not have to deal with siblings, but it's like because I had the perspective of like that just shows you life is all about perspective because I had a perspective of like wanting to have fucking siblings and not and being tired of like being alone and shit like that. Like I wanted that. Like I wanted like a like you know like after when my parents separated and shit and my sister went to college, I was pretty much it all happened at the same time. Pretty much dealing with all of this shit like alone because it's like I didn't have the siblings to go through the shit with. Because by the time my parents separated the final time, my sister was already grown. She was already out to college, and then I had to, you know, go back and forth. And then at the same time, I didn't really fit in at school, so it's like I used to envy the life of a lot of people. I used to envy the life of pretty much everybody around me. I used to envy the life of my father. I used to envy the life of my fucking cousins, like friends, like you know, like and I still catch myself doing it now, even with like YouTube shit. Like I used to envy the life of like other people that like I would literally start like the same thing and then they would like surpass me and I feel like I'm playing catch up and that's where the whole pride thing comes into play. That's where the whole rap thing comes into play. Cause I always also had a big temper and I always used to fucking like I would just get so fucking angry. Like I used to just be fucking like, I would just get pissed off. And people probably see this in like my videos. Like if it's just some shit that just doesn't make sense, it's just, I just get pissed off and it's like, I don't fucking know how to stop. I don't know how to chill. And like the only thing that got me to chill was like, it being situations that showed me like, okay, I gotta die if I'm not careful. Like, and that's kind of how that's kind of the only reason why, like, a lot of people, they might say, like, lust is another thing that I've struggled with, and they might think, oh, what like, you seem pretty sexually disciplined. It's like, yeah, like, I'm disciplined, but it's like, they gotta understand, like, people don't understand, like, I keep this shit, like, so to my fucking self, like, how hard it is to, like, not give in to like advances like made by women because it's like it's honestly like so fucking hard to do. Like I've never given in. When I do that, it was like a you know what I'm saying, somebody that I shouldn't be fucking with because I already know like to be completely real, like the women in my area, bro, like they're fucking slut, bro. Like I'm not even gonna like fucking doing shit, setting niggas up and all that shit, like it's like I've always like even at the job that I was just at, it's like there were plenty of this females that were like fucking with multiple dudes at the same time, and it was like that was another situation where it was like I kind of like had to learn to like control my impulses, because that was another thing that could get me killed, because she'll be fucking with you and then she's talking to this different dude and then she fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like it's in a whole bunch of shit just fucking pop off. And it's like I had known people that had like already been like set up and killed and shit like that. Like so it was like I had to like that was probably the only reason why like I didn't give in when I did, and that's kind of where like or like this shit fucking comes from. But it's like, bro, like oh my God, bro, like and it's like it's like sometimes I'm like, damn, like it's probably a good thing I didn't go to fucking college, because like if I did, like I just know I wouldn't be able to fucking control myself. Like it's just like it just it's because when I was younger, I didn't really get that many women. But then as I like grew up, I had like a big glow up, and it's just it's like after that it just became nothing. Like I could do whatever the fuck I wanted, like if I really fucking wanted to, with a lot of females. Like I'm talking about like, and it's just like I would just, the only thing that would stop me is because I know like the toxicness and that will fucking result from the shit. And it's like I knew I didn't want to fucking deal with that shit. But it's like it's fucking hard as fuck to not give in to that shit, because it's been so many like dudes, like girls that have like just I'm talking about just, it's like, and I don't understand how they're so oblivious to this shit. It's like it's just like, bro, it's been so many fucking guys who's like girls have like fucking hit it on me and like tried to do something with me, and it's like it's hard. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's fucking hard as fuck, bro. Like it is hard, bro. Like it is hard as fuck. Like to not give in to that shit. Like so it's like, yeah, people like I know I don't give in to this shit, but it's fucking, I don't talk about how hard it is to not give in to that shit.
It is. I mean,
Like,
that's the thing. It takes
that's
discipline.
something that I had to overcome.
It takes discipline to not give in to temptation, and most people cannot overcome temptation. So, and you're a young person. I mean, and even at an older age,
Exactly.
it's
Like
still a
being
challenge.
21, bro. It's like, oh my God, bro. Like, fuck, bro. Like, it's just the fuck, bro. Like, and probably if I had to be truly honest about like what my biggest struggle was, besides like pride and like wrath, it would probably be fucking like, it would probably be gluttony. Like, cause before like this, you know, before the whole kidney stone stuff, like I used to not really have any self-control. Like, and even now it's like I've said with all the other ones, with most of the other ones, it's like most of the reasons why I was able to like put a hold on it, because like it's been I can't, it's so hard to fucking like say like which one I struggle with the most, because I feel like there's been a point in my life where each of them was the biggest struggle. But I feel like gluttony or wrath is probably the most consistent one. Like it's probably the most consistent one, because I used to just not have any self-control when it came to food. When it came to like, I used to just be addicted to fucking junk food, bro. Like addicted, like sugar, fucking refined products. Like it's like I still have to fight like temptations and like to not fucking give in to that shit, especially when like my family, like I fucking like they'll have the shit in their house, and it's just like it's so fucking hard. Like it is so hard. Like it is so hard. Like it's like, and it's like, to be completely real with you, like my discipline comes from fear. Like with so much shit, it comes from fear. Like it comes from fear. Like it doesn't, it doesn't really come from anything else. Like I have to be honest, like I know I probably wouldn't be as like tempted to fucking like be as strict as I am if it wasn't for like the fear of like going back to the hospital and like waking up and like intense fucking pain. Like
Sure.
it's
Jay,
literally just that fear alone that keeps me from doing that shit.
On that topic, I did have a lot of people reach out to me and highly recommended this Chonkapedra tea. A lot of people said this really helped them with their kidney stone problem. An older gentleman from New York who said he had just kidney stones just destroying his life, just so common. He said the Chonkapedra finally helped him overcome the problem. So if you have not tried out this tea, I think this is worth a shot based on all the feedback I got after we did that video.
Could you send me the link to like the tea, because I've only tried the capsules, but I can't tell if the capsules are doing anything or not.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll now that I have your number, I'll text you the information. It looks like you can get it in tea form and capsule form. So, just as a therapeutic remedy. I mean, just try it out, and maybe next time you go in and get the scan, maybe the stones aren't there. So.
Yeah, and it's bad because it's like I wouldn't even be in this. It's like so many people wouldn't even be in this predicament in the first place. It's like we were never started off with like the wrong foods and shit like that. It's like what these companies do is they really do play off. If you think about it in a way, like the world runs on the 7 deadly sins. These companies profit off of people's people not being able to control like each of them, like pride, lust, gluttony, like the foods like they put on the shelves. They know people are going to be addicted to them. They know people are going to be addicted to, the drugs, the envy. They know they were going to go out and buy this thing, the sloth. Oh, well, let's create this piece of technology that keeps you from having to be as active. So it's
right. It's bad. I mean, you watch children's cartoons, all the advertisements, or most of them are junk food and sugary things, and then it sets these people up with these addictions to terrible food. And then you turn on the nightly news where it's mostly elderly people watching, and you're watching all these drugs for all these health ailments from a lifetime of eating these junk foods and foods oversaturated in sugar. And it's a sick system. So.
Exactly. And that's what I try to tell people, because they'll be like, oh, like everybody has a choice to stop doing these things. And I used to think like that too, but it's like when I actually did the amount of research on like what they put into fucking food, it's like, bro, it's criminal what they've done to us, because like we don't even like people don't even understand. Like, yeah, you can say like everybody has their own choice to do what they do, but the fact that they go out of their way to target us while we're young, to get us on these foods while we're young. So that way, even by the time we become adults, we're not going to be able to get off these foods because we've been eating them for so long. It's like it's fucking criminal, because like we didn't ask to have the shit shoved in our face as fucking kids. We started eating the shit because, for one, it was cheaper. We don't even have access to most people don't even have access to the actual good quality shit. And so when it's already cheaper and then you're pushing this stuff in our face, of course people are gonna fucking eat this shit when they're young. Of course, it's not me trying to take like people's accountability away from themselves, but it's more so like what would you expect? Like what would you expect? It's like and they know that, so it's like we were still targeted to a degree. And like I came home today and there was like this big ass fucking. I mean, there was literally a line leading out to the parking lot, but in past the Chick-fil-A that's by my house, and it's just these people don't even realize that they're not eating the chicken. They're not going to this. They're not addicted to like these lines are long for a reason. Like it's not because the food is just that good. It's because you are literally addicted. You are addicted to some shit. It's like you don't even realize that you're addicted. Like it's not even like, oh, eat in moderation. No, it's not meant to be eaten in moderation. The food isn't meant to be. They didn't make it for that purpose. They want you to be addicted. It's like you don't even realize. You think that you're making the choice of your own free will, but you don't even realize that your brain has been fucking hijacked. You don't even realize that it's really because of the MSG that they fucking put on everything in the sugar and all this stuff that literally does shit to your brain. It overstimulates your taste buds and it literally gets you addicted. It's legal crack. It's legal heroin. Like it's criminal what the fuck they do to motherfuckers. Like that's the reason why. And it's like I'm just ending off right here. Only like the fact that people are eating shit that they know is bad for them shows you that they must be fucking addicted. Because who in their right mind is gonna eat stuff that they know is gonna cause them problems?
Right, and people are addicted.
That motherfuckers are just addicted. Your brain is just been fucking with.
Again, for people who doubt that, read the book Fast Food Nation. It literally talks about all the engineering that these fast food companies put into the ingredients and how much money they've spent to literally create foods that create real addiction and keep people coming back for more. And yeah, you drive past the fast food line, you see how people are just lined up bumper to bumper for food that's really fast. When I was growing up, fast food wasn't expensive. Now it's pretty expensive and it's not good. So it's just like, what are people doing?
He was still eating.
Yeah. Well, Jay, I'll send you the information about the tea, and just again, based on how much feedback I got on that tea, I really think you should stay on that. I think it could.
I know you say you
out.
want to give you a rundown too. So did you want me to call you back to give you the rundown of like all the stuff that I did and shit like that?
Yeah. Are you going to be up here? I'll call you after the show. I'll call you after the show and take down some notes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, Jay.
All right.
All right. Take care. And Tennessee. I'm sorry we didn't quite get to your call, Tennessee. But if you want to throw some out there, we got 10 seconds.
Hey man, you said I got 10 seconds?
Yeah, we're pretty much out of show.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do it 10 seconds, so I guess I'll talk to you another time.
It cut us off, but hey, call us back next week. Sorry I didn't quite make it to you, but thank you for phoning in anyhow. You have a good night.
It's all good.
All right, you take care.
You too.
All right, well, that is the TFR broadcast, and I really do wish they would get the audio fixed. It would make the show a lot easier to do and not sound just goofy with like these broken commercials and but hold on. Truth does not exist is calling back in. He's trying to call in the DK Stonewood time slot. What's up? What's up? Truth does not exist.
I had like kind of an epiphany yesterday and today. It was something really interesting. It was like stone thoughts that I thought just now and yesterday. So I was reading Manly P. Hall's book, and in it he said something interesting, which is something my dad actually said for a long time, was that religion, like all kinds of religions, is that the physical aspects that people believed in, the masses believed in, like, they believed all these events as true, and Jesus and all these people like as real people, and all the events as real. But for the intelligent people, they knew that it was all it was all symbolic, and really it was just to teach a lesson. And all of this religious stuff is basically to teach lessons, because back then sharing information with the masses, the people were too dumb to accept it, just like now. But that was what they did, is that they coded wisdom into all these stories. And I kind of think that the 7 deadly sins are maybe a piece of that. That it's something that the Catholic Church gave to the masses, but that people maybe don't fully understand the meaning of. And when I think that the 7 deadly sins are actually trying to teach people, I think that it's actually trying to tell people not necessarily about any of the sins themselves. I don't think it's about any of the sins. I think that what it's saying is that these sins are like almost what lead to like a delusion, almost like like let's like we can go through them. You know, like I think you were saying, like lying should be on there. Like if you think about it, like if you lie all the time, then you kind of lose a sense of reality. You know, because you're lying, you're telling something false, and it's not reality. And I think that it's the same for the other ones, like you know, like greed. You know, you become greedy. You always want more, and you know that's not realistic, and you lose reality. So I think that a lot of the sins, what happens is that, you know, when people get so infatuated with whatever of these, like envy or anger or whatever, what it does is that it just kind of clouds their mind, so that way they can't see the world truly like for what it is anymore. And you know, they just kind of like become infected with material. And you know, when what happens with when you become like infected into material is that then you lose material, because now you're, you know, now once you've completely clouded your judgment with becoming, you know, completely infatuated with this one idea or one thing that you want, you lose the sense of reality and like what's going on around you, you know. And that's actually that's how people get taken advantage of, like greed. You know, people get greedy. They're so focused on greed that somebody else can come along and take advantage of them, you know, with a scam or whatever, because of, you know, the greed that just clouds the person's judgment. And I think that that's kind of what a lot of people are doing. Like, I wrote something about kind of like the masses of people yesterday, which I thought was something good that I wrote, is that I wrote, people have become so lost in a fake reality that they have completely lost themselves and have become not just a part of the system, but the system itself. They have no consciousness and no self-awareness and are simply living out a program that was implanted in them through mind control and the media. And I think that what I was saying with that is, you know, I just like, it just seems like talking with people, like having more interactions with people recently, like just normal people, like they just, it just seems like they don't have any, you know, like people don't have any personality, like all these like Taylor Swift type of people, which is, I guess, the best way of saying, like, they're just, you know, they're just into like the biggest thing, you know, they don't really have any personality of their own. They're, you know, they're like, they're basically identical to all the other people around them. It seems like these people just have like, they've just lost consciousness. Like there's like, they've just become clouded with whatever, you know, whatever of the sins, and they just, you know, are not really even the sins themselves. It's just, you know, people, it's like they're not conscious. They're just living out like a program. They're just like living out a programmed response, and they have no thought or anything outside of that. They're not, like, when you have an interaction with that person, you're not having an interaction with them. You're having an interaction with like the whole, like the mass that they're a part of, that they're being controlled by, you know. So like when you talk about with them something that, you know, breaks the programming, like truth, and obviously they're going to shut it down. Because you're not arguing with that person, you're arguing with that person's what they're connected to. Like that person can't exist without whatever thing is out there around them. Like, you know, there's religious people like that, and like, you know, like religious people are the perfect example. Is that like without the religion, they don't have anything. Like there's no personality. There's nothing about them. Their entire persona is just whatever they're obsessed by. And you know, nowadays it's not really religion. Now it's like celebrities, you know, and sports and all that stuff. And people have just it's become more than something that they just consume. They've consumed. It's like, you know, you are what you eat. Have you ever heard that phrase? Is that people like watch this TV and watch this stuff, and they've consumed so much of it that they have become it, you know. So like that makes up that makes up them. I don't know. Am I making any sense?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we understand what you're saying. There are just a lot of people that just go with the herd mentality. They're just into whatever the TV's telling them to do. You know, Taylor Swift this year, get the jab next year. You know, put a yellow bumper sticker on my car this year. Whatever they told me to do, that's what I'm into. So
Yeah. There's one thing that the Taylor Swift Red thing that I couldn't remember what I wanted to say earlier. So now I remembered what I want to say. It's really quick. So the album Red was released on October 22nd, 2012. So it's like 122, like satanic. So I that was the one connection that I had missed earlier today with with Taylor equaling 35 and all the 35 and 55 that they've coded into a lot of the rituals having to do with her. But yeah, she released an album 10 years ago that was called Red. You think of red, you think kind of like, Satan. And of course she did a tour in red, and she was like in like red latex and stuff. So I just noticed it was released on 10/22, or you can also say 1/22.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, good observations.
All right. Well, yeah. Have a good night. Looking forward to DK calling in. He's got some good stuff recently. So.
Okay. All right. Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Bye.
Take care. Well, we'll see if DK is going to call in, but give him a minute. And for the person in the chat who was complaining a lot when Jay was on the phone, here's DK. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing all right.
What's the weather like up there right now? Snowing?
No, it's not cold enough to snow, but in all the time that I've lived on this side of the mountains, the east side of the mountains, this is the longest it's ever been overcast. I mean, we've only seen sun. It's like living in Seattle lately. That's how it's been over here. It's been like the Seattle side. And they reported we were having the atmospheric river a few weeks back, but it's just stayed cloudy it doesn't happen like that over here very often. So,
real clouds or chemtrail clouds?
It's hard to tell because it's been like gray overcast. So, I mean, are they spraying above that? You can't really see the spray because the sky's just staying gray all the time. So,
for Southern California, we've had a lot of like cloudy days too, but it clears up like usually around maybe 2 in the afternoon, and then we have like clear sun, but it's totally a mix of chemtrail and cloud. We do get some clouds, usually like the marine layer, and that lasts even into like April. We'll get marine layer for the first part of the day right here on the water, and then it'll burn off for the afternoon. But yeah, we've had a considerable amount of cloudy days too. When the like winter first started, like November, October, it was like sunny every day, and then all of a sudden, I think when we shifted into like December, they just started pouring on the chemtrail layer too. So 7 deadly sins, 7 seas, 7 oceans, 7 continents, 7 days in the week, 7 chakras. So there's a lot of sevens they got us going with. I think probably most of or all of those 7 so-called deadly sins are actually just states of mind or like emotions rather than actual like. It's like an actual sin, like a wrongdoing would be like an action that you take, rather than just like thinking it. So I think most of those are all states of emotion, and then acting on them would be like, maybe a true sin or causing harm to somebody else based on being too much in that state of mind. And since our consciousness, or state of emotion, I should say emotion, that's energy in motion. So, most of these things I would say we're being played upon from a realm that's in between where our consciousness is coming from and where we're at here in the physical realm. So in Italy, and I think in some other parts back in, I think probably in Greece too, they were called like egregores, these like energy aggregators, and that would be like demonic beings on that realm, which are able to consume, energy or emotion, through like what they call loosh, through a like low energy frequency exchange. And if they can kind of get you in these states of emotion, which we would call these 7 deadly sins, then they put you in a you know, in a emotional state where you can kind of provide them energy, you know, or the energy in motion. So like most of the people that were saying pride, I think, you know, that was the negative parts of the word pride they were talking about were just ego. Because like pride would be like, okay, let's just say there's like some type of thing we're all going to do together, like a community, like build a house or whatever. And then like Zach's going to be in charge of like building, you know, let's just say the kitchen or this part, and or there's like a potluck and everybody's going to bring food. So like the true meaning of pride would be like, you know, the shit I bring to the table is going to be the bomb. Nobody's going to say that my shit sucks, you know, that I didn't put any time and effort into it. Not because of like, you know, I'm the best or anything like that, but just because, you know, I take pride in myself and my work. So I want that to be a reflection of me. So it would be like pride, I think, would be, you know, a good thing. And when it's used as a negative thing, it would be, it goes into ego, you know, and like, you know, wanting, like, say you're wrong about something that you thought you were right, and then you don't like want to admit it. That's not pride. That's ego. Because pride, you would be prideful that you know, you're always chasing the truth regardless of what it is, you know. So you kind of lose that, and then you get stuck in like ego. I mean, they made a whole movie about it. What was it? The Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it was Volume 2, where a planet named Ego is trying to take over the universe, you know. So like, that's kind of the crutch that humans have, is the fact that our emotional state can be played upon from this realm that these, you know, fake Jewish gods exist in. And that's how we get. And I think, you know, that technology has been called in the religions the knowledge of good and evil technology, where, you know, good and evil, you know, like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, where good and evil, you know, is in our knowledge frame, you know, it's being fed through our consciousness, or where we gain our like knowledge from, you know. So I think that's kind of like been a little bit possibly like misconstrued. And then, you know, now we just got out of Saturnalia here, where, you know, I mean, I went to go take some trash out, you know, all the dumpsters at the end of the row are just, not only are they full, you know, the door is totally pried open by all the boxes from all the gifts and stuff, you know, and like this like materialistic society that they've created for us, that we have actually been pushing forward, you know, ourselves partially, you know. And then you become basically, you become possessed by these material goods, you know. That's why they call them possessions, because they possess you. You don't even realize that that's the case, but you're like trying to live vicariously through materialistic things that, you know, that are actually just, you know, carbon put together, you know what I'm saying? And then like, you know, we adore these things, especially like the expensive stuff, if it's like brand names, or, you know, even going up to like cars or clothes or whatever. Yeah, that's why they have this holiday, you know, and like one of their satanic holidays, and then they turn it into like it's something good for us, where we just, you know, go out and buy a bunch of shit. And even though, you know, a bunch of people, and then like they say, oh, the unfortunate people feel the worst during these times or whatever. And like, when you really go look at it, you know, talk to homeless people at the gas station, they don't give a fuck that it's Christmas, to be honest with you. You know, they're not, oh, I'm so sad I don't have that. They're living day by day. They're not, you know, and then they try to play like the guilt card on us, that we should, you know, feel like, oh, all these unfortunate people during this time of year, so we should donate all this money to all these fake Jewish, you know, causes that are going to give them something, which they obviously don't. And then what you were talking about the other day about, well, it was like your Saturnalia video about pagan. I don't know if I brought this up before on your show, but the word pagan is a Judeo-Christian pejorative that basically means nothing. There's no people that were like the pagans, you know, like you want to talk about like the Romans or the Greeks or the Egyptians. There's no pagans, you know. This is just like a term used, just like witches, you know. Those were originally the woman who lived on the outskirts of town, who didn't want to be, you know, basically involved in all the stupid shit that was going on in the town, and she had a bunch of cats and a bunch of herbs and stuff, and then when you get sick, you'd go over there, and then, you know, she would give you some of her witch's brew, and you would get better, you know. So, and then that got termed as something negative, so now witches are, you know, negative, and Santa Claus is something positive. So, you know, all these things they give us about, like, pagans, like, oh, they worship the sun. They didn't worship the sun. They venerated the sun because they knew that was the lens from God in this realm. You know, that's where everything's coming from. That's where all the, you know, all the photonic light that everything's made out of is coming from. So, for all intensive purposes, it's God for us in this realm. So they, you know, not that they were worshiping it or sacrificing things to it. That was all the Cabal who was doing things like that to desecrate certain days that the sun does certain things, you know. But the sun is obviously not a negative thing, and they've just turned, you know, themselves into this, like, you know, solar cult. But again, it's the black sun. It's not like, you know, the actual sun. And when they talk about the black sun, that's actually what hell is. It's black suns are actually black holes, and that's where the bad or unused light gets sucked into, almost like a vacuum cleaner, and then it comes back out in the suns that we do see that we call stars. So yeah, that term, you know, I kind of always, you know, just always doesn't really bother me, but it's always like when I hear that term, people talking about, you know, oh, this is mixed with pagan. That, like, who exactly are we talking about? We say pagan. You know what I mean? What area of the world are they from? Because, you know, they talk about this, so there's pagans who are from everywhere as far as their definition of it. So it's just people before the days of these religions who knew the truth. There wasn't really like some overlying, you know, religion. It wasn't until, you know, the ancestors of these fake Jews started bringing in these fake gods to worship, and then, you know, then some of that got attributed to, like, this idea of pagans, which is not actually true at all.
Well, I mean, again, it's understood when you're talking about pagans, you're talking about people who had essentially their ceremonies in sync with the seasons and the solstices, which is what all the religions are doing. But the pagans were just more about the natural state and the observable phenomenon, rather than attaching the story of, oh no, this day is actually about the mortal Son of God who came to Earth.
Right. And with that explanation that you said, that would just basically mean farmers. You know, people who were doing their things based on the, you know, the cycles of the sun. Today we call that farmers. You know, so, well, if they even have any more real farmers, but, you know, that's, so it's like who you know, who would that actually be? Are they from, like, you know, North America, South America, Asia? You know, where would exactly we pin these people, these quote unquote pagans, down to? Because it's just like it's just like using the word quantum, you know, like the scientism religion, like quantum physics. You know, what quantum means to count. So, like, it's just like calling your microwave a quantum heating device. You know, you haven't really said anything there. You know, so that's why I was just bringing that up. I mean, I know you understand what it is, but just for the majority of people, there's no actual, like, cult or group of people that are the pagans. It was just a time in history before all these fake religions where they were actually just going by the sun, because that's what we should be going by still today. I mean, they've done all these things to take us off it, including, you know, mix up the months out of the year. We got, you know, December, which is Deca, the 10th month, but it's the 12th month, you know, and then we have the new year starting in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night, and, you know, all daylight savings time and midnight. You know, the day starts at midnight. You know, 12:01 is the first minute of the day in the middle of the night. I mean, everything's just totally backwards. So, you know, we've been pushed off this. There's another way to count time too, which I can't remember right now, but this thing that we're doing, like the 60 seconds and the, you know, 12 hours, and that's not how it was before either. And I can't remember how they used to count it before, but when I remember that, I'll mention that on the show. Well, what happened now? This guy, Bali, is that Bali go backwards guy? That guy's attacking you now?
Indeed.
Wow. Well, he must be. I'm just gonna throw a wild guess out there, but he must be another big Jewish guy. And what's his last name?
I don't know what his name is.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, like I said, it got a lot of sleeper cells, or people when they get activated, they get activated. It's like what was it? A Zoolander when Ben Stiller gets activated to kill the Indonesian prime minister with whatever call word or a song came on. Yeah, it was a song that came on. So I mean, that's how it seems like around you. All these guys that they've posted there to be like your fake supporters and followers, then literally just ticking them off one by one, like activating them, like robots. Okay, boom, I'm gonna push the play button on you, and now you're gonna become the troll.
Yeah, in a way, I'm not shocked because he got involved with the whole Ally thing last year, if you can recall, and he made a video about how I should be nicer to her. And it's like I wasn't doing anything to her. I was trying to. But anyway, he made a little video about that, and I just kind of let it go. And then recently, it was maybe a couple months ago, he was doing a live stream, and I felt bad because nobody went on his live stream. He did a live stream to interact with people, and nobody went on. And I was just kind of waiting to see if somebody would go on there. And so finally, I decided to go on, and I was just being nice to him. And I could tell he's just getting all awkward. He seemed like he's getting sweaty, and his face got all red. I was like, what's going on in this guy's mind right now? I'm not doing anything to provoke him. I'm being nice to him. But yeah, something was definitely off with him. And then his videos today just told me all I needed to know. So.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, who knows how many more will be activated? But it looks like as soon as you started cleaning shop, they're just taking them off one by one. Hopefully you're close to finished taking out the trash. Maybe by spring cleaning they'll all be gone.
Yeah, I don't think there is any. I think we know who all the trash is. I don't think there's any left. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can hope. That's about it for me. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you, but it's late now. It's already been like 2 weeks. I forgot to ask you about it. It was a major college game, football game, and the kicker. It was like at the end of the game, and he kicks it, and he's holding his helmet like he knew he missed, but the ball just made a crazy turn at the end. It went good, and then all of his team's cheering, and then they come and he's still holding like the cage of his helmet and kind of like pissed that he missed. And then all his teammates are like tapping him on the back, and you could just see he still has no idea what's going on. He still thinks it missed, And so I wanted to ask you if you noticed that one, but now I can't even remember it's been too many, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago now, and I totally forget what teams it was and everything. But I was just wondering if you had.
I didn't see that, but I mean, I've seen the same type of stuff before, so I'm not shocked. And it's just like on Sunday, there were 2 game winners from over 55 yards, which has become like a new common thing in the NFL. I mean, a decade ago, like a 55-yard field goal was the season long. Maybe one kick like that a year went in. Now it's, every weekend there's several 50-plus yard field goals. And I mean, they're showing a rookie kicker, earlier this season, he was like 9 for 9 from plus 50. It's like, okay, something's obviously changed in the NFL. So.
Also recently you were saying something. There's something about number 128 that you haven't figured out yet. That you want to figure out what the heck's going on with that.
Other than it's 11 in numerology, but I don't know what like the root gematria word is for it or correlation.
Well, I keep bringing this back up. Remember, the woman came out. The girl came out on the French Open with we have
1,028 days. 1,028, right?
Yeah, I always something about that number too. I don't know what it is either. I can't pinpoint it, but something about 128, and that's me. I'm always like, before I even found you, that was my basic thing. Like, I would just add up and get like numerology of stuff and see like repetitive patterns. So yeah, I mean, it's 11, but what else is it? Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, like, should we be separating these numbers? Is it 12 and 8? Is it 1 and 28? What exactly does it mean?
Yeah, there's something to it. Yeah, what people are talking about football in the chat. One other thing I noticed about the Christmas games is the 2 red teams got smoked at home, and then the green team won. And I mean, if you associate 2 colors with Christmas, it's red and green. So something about that.
That's red and green. That's the base chakra and the heart chakra.
Yeah.
And then remember, we had all that stuff in with Matthew McConaughey over there with the hearts in the heartland, right? A lot of plays on that. Oh, you were asking what the opposite of envy is? It would be like being happy for somebody, I would say. Like, instead of being envious, like, oh, they got that, I wish I would be, instead of just being like happy, oh, I'm glad they got that. That's cool. I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is for that.
I don't either. Yeah. It's not gratitude. Gratitude is when you get something. Yeah, I can't think of the word for that either. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. We got Merry New Year coming up, so.
Yeah, indeed we do. Well, the new year according to the psychopaths. So.
You're right.
All right. Appreciate it, DK.
New year, there's going to be a lot of new fears that they're going to bring out for us. New year, new fear. That's what one of my friends always says. He's like, yeah, every year they bring us some new bullshit to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I'll just mention. Recently, that they announced that, like, basically the military-industrial complex announced that they could power drones with lasers from the ground. So they have, I guess, made a device that gets that compacted high density light from the laser and turns it into like some type of like solar panel that goes off the lasers. So now that they could just keep drones in the air indefinitely, they would just need to come down for repair and if they need to put something on them or whatever. So, I mean, how many dystopian, future movies do they have where drones are flying around everywhere monitoring us? So, they can use satellites, but also they can have, they could have drones. And then there was that story that just came out that one of the robots in the big factory in the heartland over there in Texas for Tesla went rogue and attacked one of the workers and bloodied them all up, left like a trail of blood. And how many dystopian movies have they shown us where these elites, they have robots that end up being their future police / military force, One of the movies that most people never even heard of, Valerian, kind of shows that, where the evil guy, he has these robots programmed, and then even when the evil guy's out of the picture, now they still got to deal with the robots that are still on that program, and they're just like basically shooting everybody. So, yeah, just wanted to throw those couple things in there from the tech sector side of the satanic matrix that they're putting around us.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, DK.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, take care, man. See you.
Okay.
Somebody's calling in from Tennessee. You can call in one more time, Tennessee. I'll take your call now that the line's open. We're trying to figure out in the chat what the opposite of envy is. Again, envy is like wanting what other people have. So the opposite would be something more to like being content with what you already have. So I feel like it's something closer to the. Let's use Google to think first. But I feel like the word appreciative is closer to being the opposite of envy, but I'm not sure that's it either. Some of you guys said generosity, but that's the opposite of greed. Generosity, charity. Again, the opposite. Hold on. Tennessee?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
Thanks for taking my call, bro.
Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to do a couple things. Talking yourself, bro? No, I'm talking. My bad, man. Yeah, I just wanted to throw out a couple stuff. Let me ask you first. What was the first thing you said, or what was the number one sin of the 7 deadly sins?
It's pride. Pride.
Pride? Okay. I thought I heard you say gluttony. So I was going to say that makes a lot of sense, because where I like to spend, well, I do spend a lot of my time thinking about it, how we even got into this position as a society. And the number one thing that stands out to me is gluttony. because it ties in with convenience and our wants. Generally, obviously, not everybody, but most people want exactly what they want, when they want it, how they want it. You know what I mean? They don't want to wait for it and things of that nature. And I feel like that's affected us in a very negative way, considering, you know, the fact that like in the 50s and 60s, it was a common thing for everybody to be home around 5, 6 o'clock, having dinner around the table with their family. You know what I mean? And we have nothing near that anymore. But there was everything closed at 5, 6 o'clock back then. Now we have graveyard shifts. Now we have women working. Now we have, you know, double shifts and daycares, and we're definitely not eating around the table with our kids. And to me, I've noticed that each generation just seems to get worse and worse. So yeah, I just want to throw that my 2 cents about that.
Well, I appreciate the call. Yeah, I hear all your observations. Indeed.
Yeah. Also, man, I don't know how much you've looked into the Ravens' first season. And I mean, I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's very interesting to me. But I don't know, I'll say it and you can determine.
The first team they ever beat was the Raiders, right? The first team they ever beat was the Raiders.
No. Well, I don't know about that, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I observed was that their first season, in their 11th game, they played the 49ers. And guess what the score of that game was? 38-20. Right?
38-20, 58 points. Okay.
Okay, maybe that's coincidence. Huh?
Well, that's interesting because back then the Raiders were in Oakland, and that is the first team they beat in the regular season was the Raiders. So the 2 Bay Area teams. Okay.
Right. So I'm pointing out the fact that their 11th regular season game, they played the 49ers. The Ravens played the 49ers.
I see it.
And the score of that game, the 49ers beat the Ravens 38-20. You add that together, it's 58.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe that's a weird coincidence. But then I looked at the date, and they played on November 17th, which was the 322nd day of the year that year.
It was a leap year, yeah.
So here we are, 2023, a lot of alluding to blackout and possible blackout a possible another blackout bowl.
You know what else is funny? Back then, that game was in the same stadium that was known as Candlestick Park. Just in light of a blackout, you better have some candles. So
I did not even notice that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's got me really thinking now. Like it could definitely be the only. I've thought that the whole time, honestly. Now I still think it's fair that the Ravens should lose, and it's fitting perfectly so far. Ravens should lose, and the 49ers should beat them. They should both have the record 17-4. Baltimore Ravens 134. But yeah, that's the narrative that's sticking out most to me now. And you know, including everything we've been looking at this year. My other main option was the Cowboys and Ravens. And I thought that might be a possibility because of I don't know. I felt like they might want 2 teams from both of those.
It is a possibility. Again, they announced Usher as the halftime performer. He was born in Dallas, and at the same time, they put out the show "The Fall of the House of Usher," which is based on Edgar Allan Poe's stories from Baltimore. Then in that recent movie with Obama about the blackout, you got Kevin Bacon wearing the Cowboys hat, and on the back above his door behind him is a big Colt horseshoe, and of course, Baltimore is where the Colts are originally from. So.
I'm not saying it's not a thing anymore. To me, it's a little less of a narrative for me personally, just because I'm really kind of thinking on the 17-4, and they're 10-5 now, so they can't really fulfill that ideal. But I mean, again, I do still think that it's a possibility because, like I was saying, I feel like if anything, they probably want to be less obvious and then still have 2 teams from those 2 different scenarios. The Cowboys from, Black Sunday, Palestinian terrorist attack, and then the Ravens from the blackout. So it makes me think there might be a Palestinian EMP attack or something like that. You know what I mean? If it was the Cowboys and Ravens.
Yeah, I follow your thoughts.
Not to mention the whole game, seeing the stadium thing. I don't know if you ever paused the video and search. When they panned out the camera out to the stands, to the fans. If you pause it and you don't look throughout the stands, you can see some signs and stuff. There's one sign that somebody was holding up that I guess it was for the Steelers looking team. I guess their name was Rogue Squad or something, but they were holding up a sign that said Rogue Wave, and then there was a picture of a wave crashing what looked like it was crashing over the Statue of Liberty.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. Some cool stuff I've been figuring out. And then, that's another thing. I think 8-8 is going to be real big, like it was last week. I think it's going to be big this week and next week. Mainly because a few different reasons, but mainly because I know the Ravens, 2013, their regular season, they were 8-8 in 2013, and then there was 2 other seasons that they were 8-8, so they have a total of 3 seasons where they were 8-8.
Art Modell was running the Ravens for 8 years before his death, if I'm not mistaken. Art Modell ran the Ravens for 8 years. So.
Yeah. And then I'll say this last thing too. I won with the Ravens because I was thinking it was gonna be 8-8 before the week even started, and it got to them, and I was like, yeah, because it holds my narrative of 17-4, and also they underdog equals 88, and they were underdog, so I just felt super good about all that, so I ran it, and sure enough, and also with that being said too, that's another reason I think that the next 2 weeks might hold 8-8 too, because again, underdog equals 88, and I feel like if they do meet the 49ers in the Super Bowl, they'll be underdogs.
All right. Well, I appreciate the thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there for tonight. Good show. Thank you to everyone who called in. Thank you to the super chatters. Oscar chipped in a big 5. 13 Serpents with another 10. Daria with another 10. And Laura with another 5. Do appreciate the generosity. Shout out to John Mendoza, who also sent a $5 Cash App. And Antoine, who sent 30 on the PayPal. So we raised $75 during the stream. I do appreciate that. And let me see. Yeah, I think we got all the messages in too. So again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share once the video posts. Thank you to everyone who leaves an additional comment. Supposedly all those things help the algorithm, or at least the video, reach more people within the algorithm. So yeah, that's true. This was the last TFR 2023, wasn't it? I guess fitting show topic then for the close out of the year. That the independent numerology of 2023 is 7. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. I didn't really think about that, but I guess it was destined. So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll see what tomorrow brings us. Until next time, Truth Seeker.